needs to lock it up because there were prelims on this fight card, and I know a lot of the boys bet on some of these prelims, and they didn't show it anywhere. You couldn't find it on Facebook. You couldn't find it on YouTube. They just didn't play the prelims. How do I watch over here in America? Shot by Brando, mate. I don't know, man. You know, and you know, you guys been on my channel long enough. If I was able to show you, I would play it for you guys, but I can't get copyright strikes. So I'm not going to be able to do that, but I'll keep you posted. If you are watching at home, we could sync up together. PJ, you asked me decision or stoppage. I got a couple things working here, boys. You know, I got that long parlay working. I got the money line, obviously, with Vegas Larfield. I got Vegas money line, Kira Rustin money line, obviously both Liam's money line. But I also have some method of victories that I didn't post. I didn't have time to show you guys. But an over and under in a couple of these fights. I think if we had to pick a stoppage, I think both Liams could get the stoppage. Let's get this money, Adam. Yeah. We know the matchups. If you've seen the breakdown, if you've seen the predictions, I've uploaded it on my channel. We talked about it all week. So if you're new to the channel, you can check those out if you want. A lot of the guys who are going to be on this live stream, you know, we chat every day. So we have our minds made up of what we're going to see. We know what the odds are. We know what's at stake for both Liam Paro and Liam Wilson. We know, you know, every time Liam Wilson has stepped up, 2 world title shots, Oscar Valdez and Navarrete, things didn't go his way. Let's get this easy money card. Yeah, let's start it. Let's get off on a good Mark Joe. All right, Mark Joe, I don't recognize you on the stream, but, you know, I agree with you. I think there's good value, guys, on the under 8.5. So, Brett in the house, do you think about the book? Brett, I downloaded the PointsBet app that you suggested, and I did a cheeky 2-leg parlay on the PointsBet app because they allow me to take the over and under. So I appreciate, Brett. Salute to you. Because Sportsbet down here in Australia doesn't offer the over-under. So on the PointsBet, I did the over-under. Jonah, who wins Shock and Pitters? We're gonna feature that fight, Jonah, tomorrow on the channel. I watched film on Liam Wilson's opponent. Yeah, so as you guys are checking in, all I ask from you is to like this video. A lot of you guys are already subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do that for me. Like the video and just let me know where you're tuning in from. But Shocker and Bitters, we're going to talk about Bitters tomorrow. We're going to talk about that fight tomorrow. That's on the GB promotions card in the UK. And if any of you guys got a free stream, man, more than likely, you know, go after it. Twitter, just got one. Shot by Brando. Shot by Brando has a link. So Shot by Brando, if you go into my post section and type the link there, and they could go there. Or you just post it here. Let the boys click on it. But Liam Wilson. Who do you like? Ilya Taporia is a lot. I don't really know, but I do bet on MMA. No, Ranver. I just don't. I don't cover MMA on the channel. Like I don't do my breakdowns on MMA. But you know, I've been writing about MMA journalists for the last 10 years. I've been interviewing the fighters for 10 years. I like Ilya. I think Taporia beats Oliveira. I think Ilya Taporia is special. I really do. I think his hand speed's great. I think his boxing's great. He could grapple. He could defend the takedown. We've seen what he's done against 2 legends. We've seen what he did against Volk, what he did against Max. So yeah, I'm a believer in Taporia. So, you know, you guys know how I feel the longer you're on my channel, how I feel about strike boxers in the UFC. 2 of my favorite fighters are Adrian Yanez and Joshua Van, but Taporia's hands are just up there with theirs. I put Wilson on the start of a parlay. I like it. He looks great the new weight class for sure. He looks filled out. And the thing is about Taporia, he's mean. But let me get to some of the Liam Wilson guys. So Wilson, you know, he stepped up twice. We know what happened against Navarrete. He dropped Navarrete in the second round. The ref gave Navarrete a super long count, and then Navarrete stopped him in the 9th. Oscar Valdez stopped Liam as well. What I like to see adjustments made tonight from a Liam Wilson perspective is just to be a little bit more professional in there. Attaboy. I like when boys are communicating and sharing the links. Professional in a way of sticking to a game plan. What channel is this showing us? What channel is the show? So we're using an app called KO Sports. Paro by points. Yeah, so right now, guys, they're just showing highlights. So they're not showing the prelims, and yeah, it might be a little while. I'll let you know when the stream starts. They're just doing their intros. We got Michael Zarafa talking to the screen. So if you guys pull out one of your betting apps, it'll probably say the countdown. Wilson's fighting a one-loss Argentinian fighter. His only loss was to Magnesi. Ayrton Jimenez. And when you watch Jimenez's tape, Jimenez is a guy that likes to, you know, kind of be flashy. And in my breakdown, I told you guys, I don't think Ayrton Jimenez is who he thinks he is. And that's no shade on him. I just don't think Jimenez is at the world-class level. And sometimes he boxes, especially defensively. He kind of showboats a bit, drops his guard, engages in the pocket with his hands down, tries to kind of be flashy. I think Liam could catch him. What time does it start? Like I said, the stream has started. Yeah, he is a mover. So Jimenez is a mover, PJ. And, there's movers. There's domestic level guys who can move, who can use the whole ring. There's, world-class levels, world-class guys who can use the whole ring. I don't think Jimenez is world-class. We'll see. I don't hate the decision or the stoppage either way. And I kind of hedge my bets. All right, guys, we got a prelim starting. So I know I took Kira Rustin. Here we go. And then I also have Vegas Larfield. So if you guys had action on either one of those guys, yeah, I don't. Crusoe, I appreciate you checking into the channel. I don't bet any money on Jake Paul. I've covered some fights on that card, but I'm not going to break that fight down. I'm not going to even give him the energy. Paro's probably going to fight in about 2 hours. Vegas, I think Vegas is getting called out right now, guys. It's either going to be Vegas Larfield here or Kira Rustin. What fight is he giving or following? So this is the no limit card here in Cairns, Australia. Prelims are starting right now. If you guys ever have a chance to make it down here to Australia, Cairns is where you go to scuba dive the Great Barrier Reef. All right, Brian Cabrino. So at least the fights are starting early too, which is good. But yeah, if you could watch tape, I covered Kira Rustin on the channel before. He's a really good-looking prospect, really aggressive. The thing with a lot of the Aussie boxers is because, my links don't work. All right. Good sleep, hand history vault. Tap into tomorrow's live stream. We'll cover what happened. Does Navarro have a chance? Guys, people are sleeping on Jonathan Navarro. Let me tell you, to answer your question, Kulo, Jonathan Navarro is a guy who was brought up by Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. Trained by Robert Garcia, RGB boxing. So we know any fighter trained by Robert Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, Rayo as of late. The camp is heavy with a lot of body punching, a lot of press forward action. Navarro was a guy who was promoted really heavy by Golden Boy early on, and then, had a good amateur career, comes from a fighting family, but from 2019 to 2024, 5 years he didn't fight. Yeah, he does. He took 5 years off, though, and partially due to the pandemic, and then also a reoccurring bicep injury. And we covered this in the live streams this week. The bicep injury, when you either tear it here at the shoulder or you tear it here. And a lot of times with boxers, when they tear that, they rush back too quick and they keep re-tearing it. So it was one of those things, 5 years off. Guys, Vegas Larfield's being walked out right now. He's a fun little fighter if you guys haven't seen him fight before. He's all action, pressure forward. Larfield has one loss, and if you ask me, I watched that fight. I thought he got robbed. I thought Larfield won that fight, but they gave it to his opponent. Paro wins by affectionate hugging. I don't know about that, man. Don't tell Montana Love that. Don't tell Brock Jarvis that. Don't tell Subaru Matias that. Did you see Sarah? Yeah. Yeah, so the bicep, that's, and in my, he's never going to admit it, but to be out for multiple years because of a reoccurring bicep injury, that's the only thing that I could see that was happening. And I've known guys who rush back from that injury, and you keep tearing it. It's super frustrating because when that muscle tears, it doesn't hurt. It feels like a little snap, a disconnect, and then no, dude, Jonathan Navarro, like I told you guys, Jonathan Navarro, a lot of people are hype on him a few years back, but we know, and he's only 28 years old. So I talked about this earlier in the week. If Navarro had 5 years off and he's in his mid-30s, that's something different. He's only 28. So those 5 years happened in his early to mid-20s. He's had 2 fights since then. He won one and he lost his last fight. I like Topuria to beat Oliveira in that fight, by the way. Yeah, I like Topuria. So if you guys are feeling the dog and you want to sprinkle a little bit on that Navarro bet, I'm not telling you to do so. I'm just letting you know it's not a wash. Navarro's not coming in here thinking to lose. Cabrillos is fighting Larfield here. Paro due to a KO. Yeah. Oh, Addo, I can see that too. Liam, people sleep on Liam in terms of his timing. When you look at the knockouts he had when he stopped Love and when he stopped Jarvis, it wasn't because he was marauding forward. It's because of his precision and timing, and they were on their front foot, and, Liam Paro, perfect timing, landed the punch. Larfield by stoppage. I think Larfield's going to go for the stoppage, but, he still has to be wary here. Yeah, Ranvar, it's not that I don't like Jake Paul. My issue is an ethical issue, Ranvar. Wherever we are in our lives, whatever we're talking about, in this case, boxing, my passion, and also betting, even if it's $1, I have boundaries in terms of where am I putting that dollar towards. If it's $1,000, same thing. I just don't mind. Even if it's a gimme, I'm not going to bet anything on a Jake Paul fight. That's it. He's done great for the women's game. I'm not going to hate on him for that. What he's done for women's boxing, the upcoming female card, he's given a lot of, really talented young ladies a platform, which is amazing. He's a great female promoter, great marketer. But, I don't have to go too much far into that to help you understand how I feel about him as a boxer. Topuria does have a ground game. Topuria he not only has a ground game, but sometimes he'll go to the ground. He can defend the takedown. He has good jiu-jitsu. Topuria is solid all around, guys. Jake Paul just yeah. So yeah, the main card started. This is Vegas Larfield versus Brian Cabrillo. Larfield was a big favorite. I know some of you guys weren't even able to bet on him. It's only a 6-rounder. So Larfield's managed by Glenn Jennings, the same management team that manages Tim Tszyu. Glenn Jennings is OG in Australian boxing. Glenn Jennings managed Costa Tszyu. So I think it's fight management. So he manages Vegas. So for Glenn to get involved, he thinks highly of Vegas. Yeah, Jake Paul's card is stacked. So I already uploaded my breakdown of Tevin Farmer versus Schofield. That's on the channel right now. Liam Wilson will probably be in the ring in 2 more fights. Callum Peters is solid. MMA better. What's up? Vegas Larfield by decision. Guys, wherever you're tuning in, just like this video. If you haven't already subscribed, do that for me. This is the Liam Paro fight card. Vegas Larfield is fighting right now. It's round 1. Taparia's primary game was wrestling, grabbing, and became a knockout. Yeah, Taparia is really slick boxing. Really good in the pocket as well. Good counters, good hand speed. He sits on his punches, guys. That's the thing. If we're talking about the MMA game versus the boxing game, when you look at the biggest difference about, we'll just say boxers and MMA, is that they can't, a lot of them don't train. If boxing wasn't their first sport, they're not training to sit on punches like boxers do because they have to defend the takedown. They have to check kicks. The whole game is different. It looks similar, the optic, but the game is different. So the thing Taporia does well, the thing Josh Van does really well, the thing Adrian Yanez does very well is they punch like boxers. They sit on their hooks, they turn their hips on their right hand, and they have really clean boxing. And their defense, they'll use the boxing shell to catch and counter. You don't see that a lot in MMA. That's why they're some of my favorite fighters to watch. And Josh Van just put his hand up short notice to fight Raw Dog Royval, which I'm super stoked about that fight too. All right, 30 seconds left in the first round. Pretty even first round. Cabrillos is getting on the front foot, looking for the right hand. Larfield counters, misses. 30 seconds left. The thing about these fights, they're only 6 rounds, so you got to get to work. And the Filipino fighter, Cabrillos, I feel is outworking Larfield at the moment. 15 seconds down. You know, he's pushing Larfield up against the ropes, fighting on his front foot. High guard. I mean, I like the class so far I'm seeing from Cabrillos. He has a good backhand as well. He's landed it a couple times. Here we go. I got to give that, you know, if you're watching this fight, I give that round to the Filipino fighter. And this is something in Larfield's one loss. Even though I thought he won the fight, he kind of will start a little bit slow. But when you're only fighting 6 rounds, guys, you gotta come out the gate firing. He's still really young, still trying to, you know, figure things out. But he has a lot of skill, a lot of speed, a lot of power for the division and his size. I think these guys are 57 kilos. I could be wrong. I think that. But he's super cognizant. Yeah, it's going to the second, yeah. The thing I like about Vegas is he's super aware, his connection with his team and his corner, very cognizant in that corner and in the fight. Do you think they'd still rob Cabrillos? Cheeky elbow. It's a chat we got to have. I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen, but, you know, I don't... Let's talk about that maybe after the 3rd round. I've seen it happen before. Okay, he looks better. Watch Vegas's backhand. Like, Vegas does a lot of things really well. You could just tell Larfield spars a lot. He's so comfortable in there, moves in there. It's his work rate at times that I feel that, you know, he just has to turn the dial up a bit more, and I think that comes with time. The Filipino fighter, Cabrillos, is throwing wide shots. Really looping big left hooks, big right hooks, and, you know, kind of a big contrast to Larfield's style. Larfield's here just throwing straights, and Cabrillos stepping in and looping. Interesting matchup. So Paro and Wilson by stoppage. I don't hate it. It could happen, definitely. You know, Jimenez only has 1 loss. That was to Magnisi by decision. So Jimenez has never been stopped, but I don't think he's a world-class guy. Big right hand by Cabrillos. And then Jonathan Navarro, you know, he had 5 years off, like I said. He didn't. Oh, nice straight right hand. If you guys are watching this, like I said, keep an eye on Larfield's straight right hand. He does something really, really high level that I like. In the pocket, Larfield will be in the strike zone and throw that straight right hand naked. You know, he'll throw it without setting it up. And, you know, your corner probably, you know, really doesn't like that too much. They always say don't throw your backhand naked. But the way Larfield does it, he uses his jab to set up the pocket, and then when he gets his opponent to engage, then he fires it. Oh, Cabrillo's landing big hooks, though, mate. I don't know how much pop Cabrillo has, though. Big right hand. Dude, this kid's looking tough. Larfield might be in trouble here. He's holding on. 1 minute left in the second. This is a fun fight. I got to tell you something. Cabrillos was what was he? 10-1 dog? 8-1 dog? Nobody knows if Wilson will get the knockouts back and forth. Yeah, you can't predict it. The thing about Liam is, guys, if you like the knockout, it's going to be his left hand. It's going to be his lead hook. Larfield lands that big straight right, but gets caught with a left hook. Yeah, Skeezy in the house. Dude, the Filipino fighter is game. This is a fun fight, guys. 1 minute left in the second. Right now, Cabrillos is, you know, outworking Larfield, landing the bigger hooks. Larfield has blood dripping from his nose. You can tell Larfield's not comfortable with this pace. But Larfield's sharper. He's sharper with his straight punches. I like Larfield's body work and his straight right. He just needs to throw more. I like that body work. 30 seconds left in the second, and a very fun fight. Big right hand by Larfield. Cabrillo's awkward, guys. He steps in and throws really looping big hooks. Wow. Need a link bad. Guys, if you have a link, maybe drop it in the chat for the boys. How do I watch this fight in the U.S.? What's up, buddy? I don't know, man. I know some of the boys are trying to put the link in the chat for you guys. I don't even know if you, maybe you need a VPN. I'm not sure. What up, Johnny? Greetings from the U.S. Yeah, watching Manny's. Is that Manny's boxing partner? Will, I didn't want to say it, but you could kind of see it. Cabrillos? You could kind of see it in him. So that makes sense. So they're saying Cabrillos is Manny's, has an affiliation with Pacquiao. I mean, I should have known, being from the Philippines. The thing is, going to the third round, yeah, you can see it. I'm predicting I think Vegas is going to get a knockdown. So what I'm seeing is Cabrillos' game. I like his volume, and he's landing his big looping hooks. The thing Larfield does really well, though, like I said, are his straight punches, and he keeps it on a line. I think he's going to catch Cabrillos with that straight right hand and use Cabrillos' aggression against him. We'll see. Yeah, Brett, I'm watching it on KO Sports. Round 3, 2.5 minutes left of Larfield versus Cabrillos. A really fun fight. I think right now Cabrillos is slightly edging Larfield, depending on how you're scoring. But Larfield's counters are on point, and he's starting to land more. Cabrillos has been landing his big hooks. Larfield with some nice body work. Got a little blood trickling from the nose. Oh, big right hand by Cabrillos. He's landing it at will. Every time Cabrillos steps in, he's lunging and throwing the big right hand. You would think, an adjustment, Larfield has to see those hooks coming from a mile away. Here, catch and counter them. Larfield's finding his best work in the pocket, but when he's fighting at range, he's getting hit with these big hooks. That's good work there. And this is an in-fight adjustment. This isn't a game plan thing in terms of like in your fight camp. This is something you see in a fight. And hopefully if he's your fighter, he has the IQ to make the adjustment, but he's getting touched up right now. 90 seconds left in the third. Cabrillos has some swelling under his right eye, but he's game. And you shouldn't expect anything less from a guy who trains with Pacquiao. Will you be live until? I'm gonna stay live the entire time. I'm gonna stay live the entire time until the Liam Parody fight. You need Australian number for KO. Yeah, so I'm watching it on a KO stream, and some of the Aussies in here are trying to put the links up for you boys, but I don't know how it's working in America. I'm liking the body work by Larfield. And if you guys are watching it, every time Larfield lands to the body, Cabrillos kind of freezes up a bit. You know what I mean? Like right there. Dude, Larfield's lead hook to the liver of Cabrillos is a money punch. What I would like him do... Oh, big combo. Oh, nice right hand. That's the right hand from Larfield. Stuns him. What I want to see from Larfield is finish up top. So my boxing coach used to say, if you're going to do the work to land the left hook to the liver, don't just leave it. Liver, head. So that's a combo that, all the guys I grew up with, we would just drill. So come fight, it's second nature. If I'm going to the liver, I'm finishing up at the head. So I would just add that, I'd like to see Larfield maybe add 1 or 2 punches to his combinations. But this is a fun fight. It's a very close fight. Halfway through it, it's only a 6-rounder. Yeah, Skeezy, it is, mate. How are you scoring this, Skeezy? It is. Me too. That's why, in the main event, Jonathan Navarro, he's a Robert Garcia guy. And a lot of Garcia fighters are known for their body punching. What's up, Dara? I got a burner box, fellas. All right, Will. Yeah, Vegas doesn't look too bothered. Yeah, he looks good in there actually. I don't think Cabrillos has the power to stop Larfield. I expect Larfield to turn up his volume here. It's going to be a fun next 3 rounds. What are they doing? Oh, the ref is wiping grease off of Cabrillos. Stop the clock then. Too much grease. Damn, they sent Cabrillos out there with a full head of Vaseline. Yeah, I agree, Skeezy. I give Cabrillos the first round, but then, yeah, you're right. The last two could have gone either way. So when Larfield fights him at that punching distance, he's getting hit with these hooks. I want him to step in and stay kind of in the pocket. He's landing his straight shots. You see that? Switch to South. He lands the 1-2, stuns him with the 1-2 from South. He goes back to ortho. That was high level, and this is why people are high on Larfield. He does things like that you don't really see for a kid as young as he is. You know, orthodox fighter, but in the middle of the firefight, he goes to southpaw and drops the 1-2, lands both of them, stuns Cabrillo a bit, and then goes back to orthodox working his game. That was gorgeous to see. 1 minute gone in the fourth. This is this is the type big right hand by Larfield. This is the type of pace that Larfield wants to fight at, because the first 2 rounds Cabrillos was pouring it on, and it was kind of a question, would he be able to carry that output for the 6 rounds? And he's already slowed down. Cabrillos has already slowed down, and he's standing in front of Vegas a lot more. I'm confident with Larfield with that straight right hand. I could see Larfield stopping him. 90 seconds left in the fourth. I could see Larfield getting the stoppage here. He lands a punch there. I mean, Larfield's doing his best work when he's staying in the pocket. He's moving a lot, using the ring. All right, Cabrillos is trying to get it back. There's about a minute left in the fourth. Good lateral movement. Larfield circles out to the right. You see that? He's trying to circle and set him up with his right hand. 45 seconds left in the fourth. .30 seconds left. Nice jab by Cabrillos. More of that. We haven't seen many jabs from Cabrillos, just a lot of naked hooks. They were landing early. Larfield goes back to the body. 30 seconds left in the fourth. Oh, nice right hand. Nice angle change. Cabrillos misses to the body. 10 seconds left. There's a head clash there. 10 seconds left in the fourth. Yeah, misses with a wild hook. Yeah. Oh, nice counter stepping. That was gorgeous. Yeah, Larfield has his timing down. That's a big round for Larfield, the fourth. And if you're tuning in, that little pull counter he just hit him with was very nice. Just take the money line. The method of victory stuff is hard to bet. Yeah, I mean, it's betting either way, you know. If you're looking at statistically, if you're thinking about method of victory for both Wilson and Paro, there's a couple factors to look at. Damn, that pull counter's nice that Larfield keeps doing. The one is, oh, that straight right hand. I like how he punches down. That was gorgeous. Larfield has kind of this like chopping right hand he does when he's punching down on the step back counter. It's beautiful. Larfield's not scared, dude. Scared? What are you talking about? That kid's a dog, dude. If you don't know about him, yeah, read Vegas Larfield, dog. Young kid too. I like the homage to Costa Zoo, the hairstyle. Yeah, that was a big round. And you see how now Cabrillos is missing on those hooks. Those hooks were landing in the first few rounds, but Larfield has figured that out. And so if Cabrillos doesn't have, a next level to his offense, if that's it, he's going to get picked. These next 2 rounds should be a wash for Larfield. I agree. It could be, it could be tied going into the 5th. Yeah, Larfield's not even breathing. Nice angle. He's looking for that. He's trying to step around, angle, right-hand counter. We haven't seen the body work like we saw in rounds 3 from Larfield. I like to see him go back to the body with that lead hand. Big right hand. Oh, he gets caught with a right hand. Cabrillos is turning it on. He thinks Larfield's hurt. Larfield clinches. 2 minutes left in the 5th. Decent moment for Cabrillos. Best moment he's had in about maybe 2 rounds. Yeah, Larfield's constantly moving, perpetual motion. And as a fighter grows in their career, they learn to have sort of an economy of movement. You know, some guys move too much, you know, early on, and they're just trying to figure out that sort of sweet spot of moving, you know, just the right amount of time. Sometimes you move too much and you're not in a position to counter. It's kind of something I brought up about Floyd Schofield. You know, one of the things. Oh, this is a good exchange. Cabrillos is landing a couple big hooks here. A minute left in the 5th. Larfield's backing up. Larfield needs to land something. Nice combo there. Good exchanges. This is still a close round. I think it's anybody's round with a minute left in the 5th. Larfield's nose is bleeding again. Blood coming from the nose. Doesn't look too bothered by it, though. And, you know, Cabrillos is a tough dude. There's the body work. Stay right there. Stay right. Catch and counter. Nice guard. Defensively responsible. Big right hand right there. I like that step in. Nice combo. Kind of shoe shines him a bit. Cabrillo shakes him off. Says that doesn't do nothing to me. 30 seconds left in the 5th. Cabrillo's now showing a high guard. Wants to engage in the clinch. You could tell that Larfield's movement now is kind of, you know, not really frustrating Cabrillos, but Larfield has him figured out. You know, Cabrillos is swinging and missing a lot more the last few rounds than he was early on. 15 seconds left in the 5th. Oh, beautiful combo. The 1-2 lands crisply. Oh, headbutt again, dude. Cabrillo just crashing in there wildly. Missing with a big hook. That's another Larfield round. What I was talking about Schofield in his last fight, what I'd like to see the adjustments going into this Farmer fight, is that to the point of the economy of energy, you know, as you grow in your career, you learn to manage that. Schofield sometimes does too much when he, you know, look at his last fight against Rene Guiron when he got dropped in the 11th. Throughout that fight, he's switching stances. He's an orthodox fighter. He'll go to southpaw. And sometimes it's tough to kind of identify a specific game plan that he's trying to execute. And sometimes you watch him fight. And even the fight before, it wasn't called a knockdown, but he got buzzed in the fight before that too. And so it's almost like he's trying to figure things out within the ring. And I really haven't seen him level up. He's only 22 years old. But, you know, these are young guys. And at this stage, you want to see these young fighters add a little bit to their game plan each time you see them fight. Like we're seeing with Brian Norman Jr. Think about, you know, we've been covering Norman Jr. on the channel for, you know, his last 3 fights. And each time he fights, you know, we win money and he wins belts. So that's an example of a 24-year-old world champion who, you know, has made defensive adjustments, gotten healthy. You know, he had a little minor hand surgery last October, was the first guy to stop Cuevas. And, you know, he looked spectacular against Sasaki. So you want to see that big body work by Larfield. Down goes Cabrillos with a body rip. He's not getting up. That's a brutal liver shot. Spits the mouthpiece out. Big body rip. He's done. Oh, that wasn't low. That's a liver shot. That's 10 seconds. No count. Ooh, we got some desperate times here from Cabrillos. He swung a wild hook. Larfield slips and misses, stays under, and lands a huge body rip. Cabrillos is tough, though. No count. I don't even know if the ref called that a knockdown. Cabrillos is stunned. He's hurt. He's hurt. He wants to go now. He's ready to go. Larvis, finish the show. Larvis can finish him here. Larfield should finish him here. 2 minutes left. A lot of time left. Cabrillos still hurt. That body's hurt. Liver shot. Finish at the head. Big right hand. Cabrillos is trying to punch back. 2 minutes left in the 6th. He's not fully recovered. Taking clean shots now. Big right hand. Walking back. Clinches again. His hands are low trying to protect that body. Larfield's going up top, working the body now. Big liver shot, nice right hand. 90 seconds left here in the last round. Cabrillos is trying to tough it out against the ropes. He doesn't look right. His feet don't look up under him. He's complaining to the ref like there's low blows. He's getting tagged. Larfield's not letting up. He's pouring it on now. 90 seconds left in the fight. Cabrillos pushes off, says it's a low blow. The ref isn't intervening. Cabrillos isn't punching back now. Big shots. Cabrillos is trying to survive. Larfield switches to southpaw. Big body shot again. Those body shots are killing. Big left hook now. Oh, big shot by Cabrillos. Larfield stunned. 50 seconds left. It looked like Cabrillo was out. He lands a big shot, backs Larfield up. 45 seconds left. They're in the middle of the ring exchanging shots. You got to think Cabrillos needs a knockout. Blood's pouring from Larfield's nose. This is a fun fight. 30 seconds left. You know, he got himself back into the fight. Kudos to Cabrillos. That kid is tough. I thought it was going to get stopped. You know, he had about 15 punches unanswered. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are watching, but the clock isn't synced up. The rounds keep ending with about 17 seconds left and the bell stops. So I don't know what that's all about. But, yeah, it started off close. Larfield 4-2. You know, if you guys are watching at home, let me know. I'm a fan. Cabrillos, I'm a fan. I'm going to watch his next fight. Yeah, 58-56. I feel that. Fun fight. Guys, wherever you're tuning into this is the card in Australia. Could you like this video? If you haven't subscribed yet, could you do that now? The Vegas Larfield fight just ended. That was a gorgeous body rip. And why didn't he give him a count? Well, look at his body slip and rip. Those are the best ones. And that's that delay reaction. When a fighter overswings, misses on a hook, and you roll under and hit the ribs, hit the liver. I don't think it was low. Well, Cabrillo was saying it was low. That one was low. Yeah, not the one that dropped him, though. The one that dropped him was legal. And that one was on the belt line. They're going to the cards now, Marvin. I got Larfield winning this. Fun fight, though. Close fight. 6-rounder. You know, what you want in a 6-round fight between two guys, you know, prospects. All action. These guys were fighting in a phone booth the entire time. Oh, you didn't, dude, come on, mate. You were listening to me? Don't listen. You should have said, hey, Johnny, I'm thinking about betting live. Do you think I should wager on this live? You should have said that. My answer would have been different. I didn't know that you were going to wager money on the live. You know, come on, brother. Put a mirror behind you. Youngin. All right, mate. What parlays you got on Wilson? So, PJ, I got a long one with Wilson on the money line. I got a 2-leg method of victory. I've hedged it. I got one method of victory where I need a decision, and one method of victory where I think I picked under 8.5. So, Marvin, that fight's over. They're going to the cards now. All right, Cheeky. I just want to make sure you're not losing, you know, your rent money because you're listening to me. Like, we should have had a deeper chat than that. That's a great beat. He did, man. I thought it was going to come, bro. I thought it was going to come. Larfield won. High interest in the house. Mark, let's go, my man. Appreciate taking care of me. That tip is much appreciated, man. Anybody who supports me like that, you know I always got time. Larfield won a decision. Yeah, that's how you had it, right, PJ? You didn't see Cabrillo winning that? It was a fun fight. And generally, guys, these Australian cards are. So every time there's cards down, like I always go to the ones in Sydney. The last one we went to was the Sam Goodman fight. The whole fight card, you know, it doesn't cost too much. Check the live stream, guys. Like the live stream. Kent, I think we got Kira Rustin. I think Kira's fighting next. I think. Because we weren't able to get the prelims anywhere. I got Wilson points and Paro points. Skeezy, I love that bet. Cheeky Elbow, love from New Zealand. Yeah, one of my favorite fighters of all time is from New Zealand. Cabrillo, he did. He started how the bet's going. We're up, Tipkin. We're up. Tipkin, we're up. What time? Over 8.5. Oh, flighted. Paro over 8.5 and Jimenez to win. Cabrillo's lost. Paro won by decision. David Tua, cheeky. David Tua. When I'm 43 years old. No, I'm 43. So I grew up. I started boxing when I was 7 in 1989. And so my era, by the time I'm like 12, it's 1994. And I remember watching, Boom Boom Mancini. He was from my hometown, Youngstown, Ohio. I remember watching Ray Mancini in the baseball stadiums. But David Tua was a guy in the heavyweight division. Mate, nobody wanted to fight Tua. Nightmare. Amazing power, work ethic. Just did things that nobody put their hand up to fight him. Watch that Ike Abeyabuchi. Watch that fight. People sleep on Abeyabuchi, but Abeyabuchi lost, his prime because, going to prison. Do you guys know about Ike Abeyabuchi? Watch the Ike Abeyabuchi fight versus David Tua. Insane. Vegas Larfield won, Ravenna. Larfield decision Cabrillos, but it was a hell of a fight. I had Cabrillos winning the first 2 rounds, actually. Second round was close. Larfield really started pouring it on round 4, and you started seeing Cabrillos fade. Okay, so we got Kira Russin and Callum Peters. There you go. Wilson fight not to go the distance. Paro end of decision. It is an okay parlay. I like that, John Air. So Paro to end in decision. Wilson. So if you need some reasoning on those bets, Liam Wilson, he's what you would call a hooker. What do they say? Don't hook with a hooker. His left hook is his best punch. He caught Navarrete with that punch. He's knocked many men out with that punch, right? He's fighting a one-loss guy from Argentina who doesn't have a lot of pop, who moves a lot. Jimenez's only loss was to Mark Magnesi, he's a good fighter. Magnesi's up there, but my problem with Jimenez is his defense. Another thing with Jimenez is how he boxes. I don't think he is who he thinks he is. Meaning that, and it's no shade to him. It's hard to fight with his style at the world-class level if you don't have world-class speed. Do you like Hamza Saraz? Yeah, I love that fight. Ramvar. I love that fight, mate. I'm definitely breaking that fight down. Guys, if you're new, outbox, bro. Yeah, he can. Flight it. Jimenez can out. We're going to see early, though. We're going to cover the Shiraz fight. We're going to cover the Berlanga fight. To answer Flighted's statement about Jimenez could outbox Wilson. If Jimenez shows a level above than what I've seen, he could outbox Wilson. I don't think he's at that level, though. I don't think he's at that level. And when you look at Jimenez's at how he moves, when he comes in and out of the pocket, it's on a straight line. His lead hand's down, jab down, exit, and then he'll exit circle right to circle left with his hands down. What I'm thinking though is the first few. This is what I'm saying. The first few rounds, I think Wilson will it'll be tricky for him, but I don't think that Jimenez has a deep enough arsenal to kind of negate Wilson cutting the ring off and catching him. I think because Wilson has, good feet. The mistakes he's made in his losses, they're just kind of like ego mistakes. You know what I mean? Liam Wilson will go against his game plan. Dude, Keir Rustin's a dog, dude. Keir Rustin's a dog. He's a fun fighter. Liam Wilson makes the most frustrating. If I was in Liam Wilson's camp, if I was close with him, if I knew him personally, he would frustrate the hell out of me. This guy loses fights and he speaks about it right after the loss in the ring, talking about how he should have listened to his coaches or he should have stuck to the game plan. Do you know what I'm saying? Like at a world-class level, you're never going to become a world champion by fighting like that. And in his losses, yeah, low fight IQ. So the thing about Jimenez, though, he doesn't have the power. Jimenez doesn't have that offensive arsenal that you could say beat Liam by fighting his ego. Usually, it's what Oscar Valdez did. Valdez fought Wilson's ego, and we saw what happened. You know, Valdez had kind of a renaissance moment in his career, and it was because Liam Wilson obliged. So it's interesting. Okay, they're calling the fighters out now. This is Keir Russ, and this is I wasn't able to bet a method of victory on this, but if you can right now, Keir Russ by stoppage. If you can, I'm not getting offered that bet. Paro money line, yeah, that's a good bet. Yeah, Australia. Look, guys, it's an Australian fight card. It's in Australia. All Aussie fighters. This is what I told you. This is what I talk about on the channel all the time. Feeder fights. There's feeder fights. A lot of these Aussie prospects, they want to get to the international level. Oh, nice, Ma. Ladbrokes has... Dude, you're on a horse racing app getting knockout prop bets for Kieran? That's amazing. $1.20. That's easy money. That's insane. Ladbrokes giving knockout stoppage prop bets on Kira. I think if you've never seen Rustin box before, guys, and you're gonna be really impressed with him. So where I was getting at with these feeder matchups in Australia and these Australia cards, because we're an isolated island, you know, in terms of international boxing, we're isolated. You see when fighters have success internationally or make it to that level. Kambosos, Tim Tszyu, Jaya Pataya, and the guys before them, you know, there's a lot of guys who are kind of eating each... How's a good way to put it? On the domestic level, the Aussies are all fighting each other. So to make it's kind of tough. It doesn't sound like it, but, you know, to make it through the weight class within Australia unscathed, that's kind of how they could tell if a guy is ready for the world-class level. Kirraruston. Keir Rustin. Yeah, when you look at this physique too, these guys are weighing 80, 81, 82 kilos. 100. So is this light heavy? They're fighting at a catch weight. So what, light heavy's 174 pounds. What's that in kilos? That's like 79 kilos. So this is a little heavier than light heavyweight. And watch the physique Rustin brings into the ring. This dude is built like, you know, if you would build a slugger's physique in a lab, because he's long too. He has a long reach. He can punch, big shoulders, and they're genetically big, so he keeps that chin down. What country fight? What country fight? This is an Australian fight card. Rustin is Aussie. Kumar's from India. 9-0 with 8 knockouts. And he's tough. That's right. I mean, we featured him on the channel 2 months ago when he was an underdog against, what was his name? Tuamula? I think that was his name. And Rustin stopped him. We won big money on that. Yeah, I'm trying to get Magic. I'm trying to get Lightning to hit twice because I was kind of ringside to the Sam Goodman fight against Cesar Vaca, and I hit a 22-1 parlay. All 9 fights, knockouts, method of victories. I posted it. That started a crazy streak for me. I'm trying to get that back right now. Put 100 on the fight for me, Johnny. PJ, you wild. PJ, you wild. Terramona. Yeah. Do you think he goes far? The tough thing, Cheeky, I'm never going to sit here and doubt, you know, a fighter's sort of trajectory and how far they go with their career. But guys, you know, to answer your question the best way I can, He got stopped against Rustin. Or are you talking about the heavyweight? Are you talking about Moana, the heavyweight? I think he could be a world champion. Or are you talking about Rustin's last opponent? Because they had similar names. Because Rustin's last opponent, had a lot of hype about him and he got stopped. And I was going to say, if you're talking about him, boxing's a tough sport. A lot of these domestic guys are like, yeah, he's going to be a world champion, dude. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. People were doubting him. We live streamed. When he got removed, I was telling people, 55% of my subscribers are American. So when he got pulled from he was initially supposed to fight on the fight card 2 weeks ago here in Australia, the Jai Apataya card, and they pulled him on purpose to feature him on Richardson Hitchens' fight card, on Kambosos' fight card. Yeah, the fight just started. Ooh, I got to tell you, Kumar's coming out with some nice hand speed. Round 1 of 6. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. The fight just started 30 seconds in. Kumar, got on his front foot. He's doing what you got to do against a puncher like Rustin. He's taking the front and center, threw a nice little aggressive combo. Nothing really landed. Now Rustin's settling in, getting on that front foot. I like Rustin's jab work and his body work. So he is educated with his jab. But Kumar don't sleep. Kumar's undefeated for a reason. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Indian fighter. Sometimes you see these guys come from India and Thailand. You see it a lot down here in Australia. They have these big records, and then you see, the toolbox they bring into the ring, and you're kind of like, that's all padded. Right off jump, you can see they're doing sort of day one stuff. But Kumar, high guard, nice tight, chin down, hand speed's on point. I like his feet so far. We're just going to see if he could keep this up. It's only a 6-rounder. You got to get to work quick. He knows what he's in there with, but Kumar's 9-0 with 8 stoppages. I don't know if he's kind of pitter-pattering a bit, kind of shoe-shining, not really sitting on anything. And Kira's trying to figure out what what's in front of him. But, Kira started slow in his last fight, and the fight before that, not necessarily slow. He's kind of a smooth operator. He has a rhythm to his fight style. And, he kind of matches and mirrors his opponent's pace the first few rounds. And then in his last few fights, about round 3, you see Kira turn it up. And the minute he sees his opponent kind of wilt a little bit, he puts it on you. Nice uppercut by Kumar. Rustin answers back. A minute left. The one thing I got to say about the Indian fighter, he's not going to be deterred by the moment. He's not intimidated in there. I like to see it. I like what I'm seeing. Nice jab from Kumar. Ooh, I love that slip lead uppercut too. Kumar got some flavor to his game. Nice left hook. 30 seconds left in the first. Interesting round here. And, big right hand by Rustin. Nice jab by Kumar. Answers back every time. I love that slip uppercut. Kumar got a really nice lead slip uppercut. He's landed a couple times on Rustin. Rustin's not seeing it. 10 seconds left in the first. Yeah, Skeezy, I'm the same, mate. Does have a decent style. The thing about that slip, he's gone to the well 3 times. If you guys ever sparred, if you box, you guys could attest to this. As an orthodox fighter, the higher opponent level you fight, you can only go to the well a few times a fight with a certain punch. He's done it 3 times in that first round, that slip lead uppercut. So you can tell he drills that a lot. The problem with that slip lead uppercut is that you could time that. And what's the counter to that slip, orthodox versus orthodox? He could slip here and throw that lead uppercut and get caught with a right hook, and the Knights could be out. What's up, Kane? Just tuning in. We're about an hour in. We got Kira Rustin and Kumar fighting. Round 1 just ended. A more competitive round than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I don't think Kira's going to lose this fight, but that was a close round. But Kira's a traditional slow starter, in a sense that the last 2 fights I've seen him fight, he only has a handful of fights, is that he sort of like gives what his opponent gives him. And then when he turns it on, you guys will see he has a significant switch that he turns on, and you're like, holy shit. When he starts sitting on his shots and putting volume behind his work, it's a really high level. We're going to see, though, because so far he's only been fighting domestic level Aussies. Kumar's a 9-0 Indian with 8 knockouts. Lands a big left hook by Kumar. I like the work Kumar's giving him, mate. I didn't know who this opponent was. Oh, big right hand by Rustin. Like I said, if Kumar throws that lead uppercut again, I'd expect Rustin to make that adjustment and try to time the right hook over the top, or even just the straight right over the top. Yeah, Rustin. What were you saying? Kumar's going to get robbed? Rustin just knocked him down and stopped him. He's not going to want to get back up after that. It's over. And you were saying. You guys were saying what? I told you about Rustin. Dude's nasty. He didn't even get out of first gear either there. And you know what? Hats off to Kumar. Yeah, knockout. Damn, called that. $120. Should have went heavy. Rustin is a legit prospect, guys. Especially this weight class. His skills. He didn't even get out of first gear there either, guys. Watch what did he get? Was it a body rip? Oh, just over the right ear. Over his left ear. It was just over on the temple. He doesn't have a chin. Right hand over the top. Boom. Yeah. Ooh. Sweet spot. Sweet spot. Boom. Equilibrium goes. It's tough to recover from that. Yeah. Just melted him. Just melted him. But durability is a thing too, guys. You can have all the class, all the flash in the world, but durability is a thing too, mate. And look at Rustin. That dude, bro. You can tell Rustin lives that samurai lifestyle. Always in shape. Just, chiseled. Crazy. And those are light heavyweights. Got Navarro by split. You guys are wild. Guys, if you're new to my channel, I say welcome. Rustin knocked him out in the second. If you're new to my channel, I say welcome. Secondly, we do parlays, we do betting, I do my predictions. I'm never going to give you predictions and bets based on odds, meaning that I put reason behind my choices based on film study. The reason why these casinos and these betting apps make fortunes because of the odds. So the type of gamblers I'm friends with, the type of guys I know who that's their career. I know guys who make super, super wealthy on just gambling, just boxing. And they're only doing like $1.50 odds. So the idea that we're finding 10-1, 11-1, that, nothing against it. Maybe every once in a blue moon you might find one. But if you want to consistently make money off of boxing and consistently increase your wealth from gambling on the sport, you're gonna look at it a bit differently. Like if you would have put 10 grand on Rustin to win by stoppage, you'd got 2 grand back. You add Rustin by stoppage and maybe Wilson to the money line. You increase those odds to like $1.40. 10 grand gets you 4,000 back. I know guys who bet like that. One of my boys bets 50 grand to win 30. So what is that? You bet 50K on like $1.60. Better Beef to beat Bevo by UD in the first fight was like $72. See, somebody got it. But those are like 50-50 fights, Mers. Those are 50-50 fights, and that's a method of victory. I'm talking about somebody said Jimenez to win a decision 10-1. He could. He has 10 rounds to do it. I mean, if anything, yeah. Yeah, Callum Peters is next. Edwin, I got Malty, Navarro, and Jimenez. Wow. Yeah, good luck on it. You got Navarro and Jimenez. I'd like to know your reasoning on it, if you sell me on it. There you go. There's a guy on Twitch streaming these fights. Next fight is going to be Callum Peters, I think. And then we got the 2 Liams. Yeah, no punch resistance. Didn't. And you kind of, yeah. Durability is a big part of the game. I don't know how much of that has to do with, maybe that's, lack of sparring. Maybe he's not used to getting hit like that. Maybe Rustin is who a lot of people in his corner think he is. A lot of people are high on Kira Rustin. He's kind of getting fast-tracked at the moment in terms of, 7 pro fights, 7 knockouts. That was a nice little step up. He fought a 9-0 guy with 8 knockouts, and, Kumar had a bit of class to him. I don't think I'm off track saying that. What's the saying? Bet with your... Yeah, that's my saying. My dad always said, Johnny, bet with your wallet, not with your heart. And that motto finds me sometimes betting money on guys that are fighting guys that I know, and I have to go the other way. I've been making decent money betting. Peters or Slanigan. I think that fight, if that fight has happened, they weren't televising it. I think it might be next. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they bring Rustin along. He's 27 years old. I think he just turned pro in the last year and a half. Guys, wherever you're at, let's like this video. If you're new to the channel, I say welcome. Guys, I do breakdown, analysis, and prediction videos that are edited and uninterrupted. Go to my playlist and see fight predictions. Today, I uploaded Tevin Farmer versus Floyd Schofield. Tomorrow, I'm going to be uploading the Gilbert Ramirez-Zurdo fight, Dorticos, and give you my prediction in that. And then I think I'm going to be able to get to a couple other fights. Some of you boys have been requesting the GB Promotions card in the UK, the main event, which is on DAZN this weekend. I think I'm going to try to get to that as well. And there's a couple other fights that have my interest. Deontay Wilder's fighting. John Pascal's fighting. Yeah, the same John Pascal who fought B-Hop in 2008. He's 113 years old. He's fighting. No, Pascal's 42. It's kind of a testament to how thin that cruiserweight division is. What's your SB profile name so we get copy via the feed? What's my SB profile name? I don't know what that means. SB? I don't know. Dude, I'm not tech savvy, mate. I got a buddy that bets heavy on massive locks. He put 2,000 dollars. Yep. Oh, sports bet. Oh, my name. Fucking hell. I think it's just my name. Because I'm using my phone right now to stream and my laptop is connected to my big screen, I don't have a fourth device. Who knew it was a good fight until I know. Well, it wasn't the glass jaw, mate. It was that fight IQ. Just type in Johnny Stofko on Sportsbet. JONNYSTOFKO. The thing with Justice is, he was fighting a great fight. It's just, what was that, the 11th round? What are you stepping in and sitting on bombs for, dude? He could have just high guarded it out, jabbed his way, exited out, used the ring, knowing that Fabio's only shot was landing that big punch. And sure enough, you know what? And that's going to haunt Justice Huni for the rest of his life. 1,000,000% in those are just facts. Kevin McNamara, someone tell us. They're saying somebody on Twitch. I don't even know what that is either. But if you guys have a link for the boys to watch, put it in here so they could click on it. What do you think about Manny Pacquiao? I'm not happy about it. Willy Wonka, I haven't seen you in a while. Who got in the Taporia Charles fight? Brett, I like Taporia to beat Oliveira. And Brett, I'm not happy about it, mate. That's how Justice fights. I know. In round 10s, right? It happened against Kevin. Click on the story, take it to the stream. There you go. I've said the link 10 times. Guys, Skeezy's been sending the link. How about Skeezy go to my post section? The last post is I put because I'm an author, I write books. If you go to my channel under that book post, you can put it in the comments and maybe they could all go there and click on it. It's on there, I just checked. Okay, I just got in here. What's up, Kevin? So yeah, to answer your question, Pacquiao's fighting Barrios. Let me see. I don't even know how to do this. Can I pin it? No. I don't know, mate. My strengths when it comes to technology here is actually behind the camera. So when you see the product, I could edit. I could use all the camera, but when it comes to this sort of stuff, I'm just learning. Send it one more time on the stream. Isn't even showing these fights. So Kira Rustin just won by knockout second round. Vegas Larfield won a decision against Cabrios. I think there's only 2 fights left. Just go. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Send it for the boy, Skeezy. Yeah, Skeezy, Ollie, go to the post section, mate. So go to my page, YouTube page, in the post section. He posted it there. Kevin, he's posted the link like 10 times, he said. Oh, he's trolling. Is he trolling? I don't think he's trolling. I think he posted it. Maybe he's trolling. I'm too naive, mate. I think everyone's cool. If he's trolling, that's messed up. It's kind of funny, but I guess I'm too naive. I thought he was legit. Hey, Johnny, Luca Lanigan is winning. Luca Lanigan was... we're not watching that fight. Ask that Luca Lanigan. Who did he fight? I'm not trolling. Yeah, I didn't think you were. Skeezy, yeah. Skeezy's always on it. He's not trolling. So we're in between fights here. I know, Brett. Fighting, yeah. But then again, you know, of the, you know, at 47, I definitely don't want to see Manny versus Brian Norman Jr. You know, but Barrios is a big guy. You know, he's 46 years old. You know what I'm saying? All right, there's 3 fights left. Callum Peters, then Wilson, then Paro. Oh, yeah, so Luca Lanigan's fighting Callum Peters. That fight's coming up right now. Just asked. So, yeah. Jimenez, we got some Argentinian fans. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Giovanni. Gracias. Bienvenidos, mija. Who is win first? Diaz and Wilson. Who is first? Jimenez or Wilson? Who do you think is going to win? I think Wilson wins. No link on any posts. You said you posted here. Kevin's tripping, man. Don't make Kevin upset, boys. It's 7 a.m. in the States. It's on the book post, Kevin. So go to my post. You see, it'll the 24-hour reset, ungoogleable. Look in the comment section. He posted it there, and then I think that's where it's at. All right, we got a fun fight coming up next. It was Kevin. So my books, if you're in Australia, you could get them at the bookstores, Dimmicks. They were carried for an extended period of time at Barnes & Noble in America, but the best way to get them, just go to Amazon, Google. My second book was an Australian publisher, and then that's why they put them in the bookstores here. My first book was a publisher in New York City. But you can just Google. Just type my name in, and the whole thing will come up. I don't really promote them on this. This is sort of my boxing, sort of, dare I say, safe space. How cringe. But, you know, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I run my own fitness business. So I've been working, I'm a fitness entrepreneur sort of thing. So I work for myself. I've been running my own stuff for about 10 years here in Sydney. Liam Wilson, I think Wilson, Wilson should win, guys. He got caught lying. Use Twitch screen, worst case. The chat is, dude, see, the chat is high level here, though, man. A lot of boxing heads, so they'll call you out if you're tripping or trolling. Who is this dude wearing a flannel shirt? I've never seen anyone walk out in a flannel shirt. Luca Lanigan. This is insane. Worst case, I think my stream pretty decent. Kyle. Okay, how is Wilson going to win is the question. Yeah, so, I mean, if Wilson on the money line isn't convincing enough to you, then you have to go with your reasoning on how he wins. You got to look at high-level experience. You got to give that to him. Fought for 2 world titles. You know, one could say that he should have been a world champion against Navarrete. the one thing you got to question about Wilson sometimes are his decision making in the pocket. The strengths of Wilson, his fucking power, dude. Mr. Damage. He'll take one to give one. He has that lead hook. Has to cut off the ring. Jimenez, Argentinian fighter. The one time he stepped up against Magnesi, he lost the decision. Never been stopped. Doesn't have a lot of pop. Kind of a tap and go fighter. Enter hands, hands low, jab, exit, hands down. Enter, hands up, jab. Doesn't really sit on anything. Has good feet. Uses a whole ring. We're gonna see if Wilson, he had a fight camp. He had a fight camp. No, the Wilson fight didn't start yet. This is Callum Peters. I think both guys are gonna go for the stoppage though. If you know anything about these guys, Wilson or Paro, the card was built around these guys. It's home cooking. They both want to get world titles. Liam was a world champion. Liam Paro was a world champion. We know he lost to Richardson Hitchens. And Wilson was so close. So that hunger is there. And, Paro, everybody always talks about, he lost to Hitchens, and he did. I thought that was a wider margin than it was the scorecard suggested, because on paper they said that, it was a split. But Hitchens, man, he boxed great. And Hitchens' jab and his movement and his counterboxing, it wasn't a good matchup for Liam Paro. Liam Paro does his best work with aggressive guys, punchers. Nobody wanted to fight Subaru Matias. Nobody did. 100% knockout to win ratio. He was literally the boogeyman. Paro not only put his hand up to fight him, he went to Puerto Rico to fight him, and he beat him. So this is that guy. This is who he is. He got outboxed against Hitchens. Really didn't have sort of a plan B. Wasn't really when Hitchens is cooking. I broke the George fight down. I told you guys Hitchens is a really high level boxer, and I predicted the viral moment. You could check the receipts. Hitchens, in my opinion, has the best jab. If not in the sport, definitely the division. His speed is unparalleled. His fight IQ is great. His feet is great. Richardson does a lot of things really well. It was really a bad matchup for Liam Paro. But when you take what Liam Paro does at his best versus Jonathan Navarro, Navarro, out of the ring for 5 years. I documented this. He is a Robert Garcia guy. He is, was sponsored by De La Hoya and Golden Boy. He had a really, exciting promise to the start of his career. Comes from a boxing family. He's an East LA guy. So, he's going to be on the front foot. He's going to work the body. He's going to have high volume. I think Liam Paro, I could see him stopping him. His precision, his timing, his counters. Paro has more power than people like to think, too. He gets guys running on shots. So, that's a timing thing. He does that really well. It's when he's forced to chase you. That's when things kind of get sketchy for him. And Navarro's not that guy. So, take that and do whatever you want with it. I could see it ending under 8.5. If you want to play it safe. There's some decent odds floating around there. Will the fight, over under 8.5? I like the under. You want to play real safe, Paro on the money line, juice it up with some other fights. All right, this fight should end really early, man. This is insane. Because Callum Peters, this guy has a lot of hype about him. Luca Lanigan, he walked to the ring in a flannel shirt. They're good 6 3-minute rounds. This is going to be a stoppage in the first minute. Oh! This is insane. So Lanigan literally walked in off the streets. That's what they said. He's popped. It's over. That was so brutal. That was insane. His jaws. Hey, Lanigan, do you want to fight a savage on short notice to get your jaw broken for $400? Hey, do you know anyone who wants to fight for $400 on national TV against a big puncher and maybe get their jaw broken? Somebody was like, yeah, I know a guy. I know a guy. It was brutal. It's oh, God, dude. It's 2 knockdowns in the first minute. Stop this fight, dude. They're counting? Yeah, he's not getting up. He don't want it. How did that fight get sanctioned? They're letting it go on. The ref is like, if he dies, he dies. He's going to go out cold. Oh, it's over. 3 knockdowns in the first 90 seconds. I mean, what do you expect? Callum Peters just has to thank Luca for taking the fight. And hats off to Luca Lanigan, but sometimes you got to bring guys in on short notice to fight a rising prospect so they could get knocked out on national TV. You know, it's all for the sake of the promotions. I know, DJ. They're out here wild. He walked into the ring in a flannel shirt. No smoke about flannels. I got a couple in my wardrobe from like the early 2000s. Here we go. Two fights left. I know. I said 400. I don't know, mate. Hopefully he got 5K. Who knows? Who knows? We could Google it. They probably won't tell us. Callum Peters knocked him out in the first round. Oh, dude. That first one was brutal. Okay. I didn't know. I know. Is he an MMA fighter? I know he took the fight on short notice. Luca Lanahan. Look at the shoes he's wearing. He's wearing Skechers with... My man has Skechers on with medical tape. Johnny, what's the worst, punch, or solar plex or liver? Yeah, of course. Liver. 100%. 100% liver. 100% liver. No, the first book is called Ungoogleable. The second book is called The 24-Hour Reset. Nah, man, I'd rather get hit. Dude, the liver, maybe I just haven't been hit hard enough in the solar plexus. But under the right, the liver, mate, nasty. Yeah, he is happy he's alive. So we got 5 to 10 grand? Nah, I don't think he got 10K. I'm sticking to 400 bucks. I can laugh with that one. Top rank. 2 fights left. These fights are cruising. I can see 5K. Okay, so he's a kickboxer. I mean, what's his topology say? Is he like a fringe level domestic kickboxer? I mean, I don't see him fighting in Lumpini stadiums in Thailand unless I missed something. Okay, short notice. Yeah, but we got some big fights coming up outside of tonight, I mean. You guys still got your parlays? Hopefully you took Larfield. Rustin. Somebody took Rustin by stoppage at $1.20. Yeah, give me 100%, dude. I think a liver is way worse than solar plexus, but that's just me. Where can I watch it? Cyrus Ferrer. If you're in Australia, Foxtel or KO Sports. We got 2 fights left. Liam Wilson fighting Ayrton Jimenez from Argentina. 1 loss. Lost to Magnesi. Biggest step up. So, we'll see. We'll see what Liam Wilson, the game plan here. Just spat my coffee across the room. Go to Twitch and search code $5.95. Cheeky Elbow. New Zealand in the house. Brett, what did you spit the coffee out for? Who you got? Liam Wilson. Why are you mad, Toya? Yeah, I got Liam winning. Let's go, Johnny. Ranvar. We got it. We got it. Hit rates. I'm not going to jinx anything, but the hit rate in Australia, kind of my wheelhouse. Liam's fighting Ayrton Jimenez next. Like I said, I expect, exactly, GK. I expect the first few rounds, Wilson's, just going to have to figure the movement out. And it's going to be, Argentinian fighters historically are going to be tough guys. But somebody was using that narrative today in the chat. I was like, all boxers are tough guys. Like if your reasoning for picking Jimenez is because he's from Argentina, then you need something better than that. I need a path to victory. Is he going to jab Wilson to death so he's going to win every round? He has 10 rounds to do it. I mean, in order to win these rounds, he's going to have to make a decision to stay in the pocket. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot the very first exchange with Jimenez and Wilson. Yeah. Wilson, he stopped Navarrete. He did. However you want to take that. It was the news down. It was a 20-second. When I did my video on YouTube that got taken down, I did the clock next to, it was round 2 of the Navarrete fight. I had it at 22 seconds. From the time Navarrete gets dropped to where the ref is counting, and then it was a 22-second count. Australia media did a similar video, and in the media this week, they said it was a 27-second count, which I felt was a little bit steep. I don't know if he was robbed, but it was a bad call, and they're fighting again. Yeah, obviously the fight was stopped. They said it was from a headbutt, but it was a punch. Rustin, second round. Like Navarrete was, dude. Liam Wilson should have been world champion, dude. That's all I'm saying. Like right there, 1, 2. Oh, I thought they were gonna do the count. Oh, this is Noi. Oh, that's when he fought Joe Noine the second time. Dude, oh, that's Yusuf Dib. That knockout was disgusting. Billy Dib's little brother. I told you guys to take... Oh, that knockout was nasty. I told you guys to take Rustin by stoppage, mate. Yeah, so it's going to... The thing about Liam by decision or stoppage, that is the... Tori, it depends how heavy you want to go. Like, if you want to sprinkle a little bit for fun, like, if you're just trying to sprinkle a little bit of money, not a lot of money, not a big investment, take the stoppage. It's better odds. If you're building a parlay and maybe you're going a little bit heavier, you want to play it safer, take the money line. I like the under 8.5. So there's a bet that you could take under 8.5, just either way, under 8.5. Check those odds. I like that one. I have Wilson on a long parlay. I also have some prop bets with him and Paro. But yeah, I guess allegedly some of the Aussies down here have a horse racing app. What's the horse racing app? You can bet 365 at Wilson knockout under 8.5. Come on, cheeky. That's literally the one I'm talking about. Dude, I got to get bet 365. Dude, Ranvar loves putting Jake Paul on his parlays. You know what, Ranvar? I'm going to listen to you, mate. I'm not going to do it now. I won't tell anybody. I just can't bet money on a Jake Paul fight. Yeah, the count was super dodgy. All right, Ayrton Jimenez is getting walked out. Let's see this. I love the Mabili fight. I'm uploading my Mabili Selecki breakdown this week. The main event, Bazooka's in one more fight. But Ranvar, I like your other picks on that. I know, Skeezy, 100. Yeah. Well, Skeezy, I know guys that, it's not a huge secret in boxing circles, guys. This isn't a conspiracy. Go to Reddit. And if you don't know, if you don't believe me, I know guys in gyms in Texas. I know guys in gyms in Florida who know that Jake Paul's fights, who know firsthand certain opponents were paid to take dives. This happens at all levels in boxing. This isn't a Jake Paul thing. This is a historical thing that's happened in boxing. It happens in a lot of sports. But it's a known thing. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to bet on that. I'm not going to bet money on that guy. Like, I grew up in the sport, guy. I've been around the sport since I was born. I was in a fight gym at 7. My hometown, Youngstown, Ohio. You're born and you play football, American football, and then you box. It's not Skeezy for me. It's not even the risk. I don't care. even like Randvar, and he's probably right. It's a lock. It's not even about the money for me. It's not about the risk. For me, it's ethics. I don't care if it's a lot. Even if I knew Jake called me, it was like bet $1 million, but I wouldn't do it. Like it's not. It would go against all reverence I have for the sport of boxing. I grew up around this sport. One of my ad nauseum. One of my childhood buddies. I was side by side during his world champion run. That guy right in the background. Close friends. One of my best friends was Kelly Pavlik. We grew up together side by side playing baseball, boxing. I was there when he knocked out Jermaine Taylor. Ray Boomer Mancini's from my hometown. He's a local legend. He fought a guy, Dooku Kim, who died in the ring. The sport of boxing literally changed from 15 rounds to 12 because of the Dooku Kim Ray Mancini fight. Boxing's a serious sport. It's a blood sport. Look what happened to Prashad Cologne. Story after story. People die in there, and a guy like Jake Paul just comes and prostitutes our sport out and calls out world champions and talks reckless. Oh, he's a good marketer. He's selling a fight. Dude, I don't got time for all that. He's a good female boxing promoter. He's a good female boxing promoter. I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, unfortunately, he's from where I'm from. He grew up an hour from me. He's from Cleveland. I'm from Youngstown. Cheeky. Yeah, it's my passion, man. But about 3 years ago, I started podcast. The fight's about to start. I'll shut up in a second. But I started my first podcast in 2015 in Australia when nobody was podcasting. It was called the Vision Board Podcast. I had a co-host. We were interviewing entrepreneurs, millionaires, world champions, Larry Holmes, Evander Holyfield, Gary Vee, Jonathan Thurston for all you NRL fans, a bunch of people. And then I had another podcast. I wrote my first book with those interviews on Googleable. But then in 2019, I filmed a documentary, and I had investors investing in this documentary, traveled the world with this world champion in a sport called Lethwei. And Lethwei is from Myanmar. It's bare knuckle Muay Thai. So it looks like Muay Thai, but the headbutt is legal. And during that documentary, the filming of it, one of the guys who's an investor in it named Len, he lives in Dubai, he was like, Johnny, he was like, you need to just do content on boxing. He was like, don't stop interviewing scientists and race car drivers. He was like, just focus on boxing. So I started listening to him. It took me a couple years to listen to him, but I'm about 2 years in on this channel of just doing all boxing. So yeah, I'm a nerd about this, but I watch MMA equally as religious too, though. I've been, my first book, Hoist Gracie's in my first book. I watched UFC 1, November 11th, 1993. I was 11. It's the only sport that came around in my lifetime. Think about our favorite sports. All the sports were long invented before we were born. But MMA was invented when I was 11 in 1993. So I equally could talk to you about MMA, UFC, like I do with boxing. I can see Swindle in the house. What's up? All right, we're excited for this one, guys. I know some of you got the Argentine, Ayrton Jimenez. We got the Argentinian flags in the house. What a great national flag, too. Diehard Browns fan. Flighted, you're from LA. I lived in Long Beach, California for 7 years. The LBC. Yeah, that's a Cleveland hat, and there's a Long Beach hat. Yeah, I went to grad school at Long Beach. Some of the best years of my life were spent in the 5.62. I will. I'm going to commentate. The fight's going to get started here in a second. All right, the fighters in the center of the ring. Let's get to business, boys and girls. Wherever you are, like this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it. I do live streams every day, not just on the fights. I break down the fights. Go to my playlist, Fight Predictions. Farmer versus Schofield's up right now. Liam Wilson's in the middle, 15-3, 8 knockouts. This is an interesting fight, guys. Ayrton Jimenez, there were easier fights he could have taken. Tell them I sent you. Exactly, buddy. And then you're looking, Buddy Conway. I appreciate that input. I agree with you, Buddy Conway. And then we go to Instagram, we go to Facebook, and see sites like the biggest boxing following sites are just Jake Paul's transformation. Jake Paul punching the bag. Is Canelo next? I'm like, dude, shut up. Dude, dude, yeah, don't get me started. Johnny Lampley. I like Lampley back in the day. He did a terrible job in New York City. I would no shade on Lampley, but he did an awful job in New York City on his comeback. He was so one-sided. He talked so. All right, round one, both fighters. Liam takes the center. All right, so you got Jimenez already showing his lateral movement left to right. I think, Wilson's best punch, left hook. I mean, Jimenez doesn't have one pop knockout power. People who were taking Jimenez, all I was hearing all week were based on the odds. I didn't really get a path to victory from Jimenez. He has to win. It's only a 10-rounder. Has to win, 6 rounds. 30 seconds gone in the first. Wilson's doing what he's doing, trying to control the center, using his jab, misses with a big hook. This fight could either be really sort of pedestrian, or it could, heat up early and be exciting and there'll be a stoppage. That's all I'm saying. I've never seen a Liam Wilson fight that was a firefight and exciting that went the distance. But I've seen him fight before that have gone the distance, and they've kind of been, his opponent really wouldn't engage, and Wilson wouldn't put himself in harm's way. All right, the first round just started. We're about 90 seconds in. No one's really done much. The one thing I have seen on Jimenez so far is, he's keeping his guard up. If you watch his tape, his film study, he kind of likes to showboat a bit, calls himself Pac-Man, but you could tell he paid attention, because the whole time Jimenez is keeping his right hand here, which is smart, right there. But you see how he's exiting and his hands drop. Now, if I'm Wilson's camp, I'm game plan. I brought this up in the film study. I said that you'd have to think that Wilson worked on cutting the ring off and worked on shortening the distance during the exits. So it's always, a lot of times when, guys get stopped or knocked out, it's not necessarily a punch that they see coming. It's usually a punch that their opponent either out-angled them or out-countered them, like a speed timing issue. And I could see Wilson doing that with his lead hook. Jimenez, so what Jimenez is, the trickiness with him is that Wilson, he's not going to do what Wilson wants him to do. Wilson wants him to just stay there. But Jimenez is going to tap and exit. I don't think that's enough to win this fight. I think there's going to come a moment in this fight where Jimenez is going to have to stand there. 10 seconds left in the first. And the thing about Wilson, doesn't really move his head off the center. Kind of like, Zoo a little bit. My problem with Tim, not a lot of head movement. Stays there a little bit. Kind of looks at his work. Not a lot of this, that sort of thing. So round one ended. Going into round two, PJ. Both fighters are in their corners. Jimenez did exactly what we thought he was going to do. Move around a lot, left to right. Enter the pocket with a jab. Exit. Who won round one? Not a lot happened. Wilson landed a nice body rip. I think the best punch was probably that body shot with about 20 seconds left. Not a lot of volume either guy. The bigger moments, if you want to call it that, Wilson. Guys, in boxing, round one's always a tough round to score. Some guys traditionally will give it away. Tank, is a guy who usually gives away round one. Floyd is another guy who usually would give round one away. So, because of that, tough to score. Round two just started. There's openings. There's openings for Wilson. And so it's in this kind of unorthodox movement. Nice counter by Jimenez. Shows good hand speed. Jimenez has kind of, he has better hand speed than I thought he was going to have so far. But everything he throws, even his counters, he's moving. And so what we know about punchers and punch power, you could land it, but it's not going to have any significant pop on it if your feet aren't planted. And so Jimenez, with that left hook, it landed, but he's moving. That's kind of the risk you'd have to take. You have to make that decision against Wilson if you're Jimenez. If you really want to, get his respect and kind of, do damage, you have to make that decision to sit on something. 1:45 left in the second. Wilson's pretty much, just staying in the middle, letting Jimenez move left to right at bay, not really cutting him off, kind of circling a bit, kind of falling a bit too much. At this pace, like I said, this is, Wilson jumps with a big left, misses. It's going to come down to, Jimenez. If Jimenez could do this for 10 rounds, and the decision would go to Wilson because he's not scoring enough. There's a cut above Jimenez's left eye, I think, but I don't know if that happened from a headbutt or maybe it's just a scratch. A minute left in the second. Wilson needs to pick. Wilson's trying to pick the volume up, but he's missing a lot. Missed with a jab. So what Wilson needs to do is kind of try to invest to the body right there. That's a good body, good left hook. You could tell Jimenez did his homework though, because even on that exit, he had his guard here. So the way you break somebody's legs is you work the body. You want to flatten those tires, so start working the body. 40 seconds left in the second. The problem is, nice jab by Wilson. Awkward movement there. 30 seconds left in the second. Yeah, right now, Jimenez is trying not to get hit. Not really trying too much to enter. When he does, he throws like a leaping hook. Nice little counter slip there from Jimenez. Scored a couple. 10 seconds left in the second. Those are off the guard. Jimenez's output is higher now. More output this round. I think that's a Jimenez round. If you guys are watching, how you scoring it? Yeah, close rounds will go to Wilson. It's in his hometown. I mean, being as, from a neutral perspective, I'd give that second round to Jimenez. He's actually the one who turned the volume up slightly there. The way I operate without bias is because I'm not a fan of any fighter. I put the sport above any fighter. The last time I was a fan of a fighter was when my buddy Kelly was fighting. But that was early days. Damn, Justin Frost put on some weight. Yeah, big boys. Yeah, so I don't fanboy any fighter. I'm a fan of the sport. Like if the longer you watch my breakdowns, I'll bet against guys that I like. Come on, round 3. Like, I'm close with, I could reach out to Dana Dana, who's an Aussie boxer. Dana's coming off 2 losses. He lost to Shushu Carrington and Chop Chop. And in my breakdowns, I even said, I'm like, I hope Dana wins, but it's a tough hill to, and if you're going to bet, take Shushu Carrington. So things like that. This is round 3, guys. Wilson needs to get into this fight. Right now, Liam really hasn't even entered the fight, meaning that, his belt line says Mr. Damage, but, we need to see something happen here. A minute gone in the third. He's still trying to jab it around. It's a big ring too, guys. No one's talking about that. If you guys are watching it, are they talked about how big the ring is? Unlike Top Rank's card with this past weekend with Truck Simpson and Jahai Tucker, they were fighting in a shoebox. This ring looks massive. So this massive ring is definitely going to favor the movers. Does Wilson kind of look frustrated? I don't like Wilson's body language. And Jimenez's hand speed, is I think he has faster hands right now. That's a good combo. You got to keep him there though. Oh, nice combo by Jimenez with a nice right hand counter. All right, Jimenez is starting to kind of, it's heating up a little bit better from both sides. You can tell Jimenez is feeling himself a bit more. Wilson's trying to, make things happen. The first half of this round, he looked a bit frustrated, but Wilson's kind of looking like he's warming into it a bit more. 30 seconds left in the third. So what's happening is Jimenez is making Wilson overswing, and he's using his speed to counter. 20 seconds left in the third. Nice left hook from Wilson. 15 seconds left in the... Jimenez landed a big right hand. The thing is, you don't want to give this kid too much confidence. You can see he's a rhythm fighter, and he's kind of cooking right now. Yeah, but they're still kind of, you see how they're kind of, they're missing. They still haven't closed the distance, either one of them. Like that last 10 seconds in that exchange, they both swung and missed, but they were so far apart. And with Wilson, when he does sit on his shots, he tends to leave his back leg behind. So I could see Liam down 2-1. I think that's a fair assessment. So like even when you're watching somebody drill shadow work, when you're throwing your backhand, you want your back foot to step with it. Never cross over the front foot, but when you throw that back foot, short step, left short step. So you're never stationary. And what's happening is Wilson is just, unless you have your opponent in the corner, Wilson's trying to do that in the middle of the ring, and Jimenez is using his movement and speed to just, elude him. Wilson needs to, cut the ring off, work the body, catch Jimenez in a corner, and then sit on your shots. He's kind of skipping a step in terms of what he wants to do. He's not limiting Jimenez's movement, which you have to do first before you sit on your shots. He's going straight to sitting on his shots. And that's why like his punches aren't really, landing where he wants them to land. He's not throwing anything in combinations. He's kind of like one and doneing, missing a lot. Not really good work, not really classy work from Wilson so far. Round 4, a minute left, a minute gone, 2 minutes left. Jimenez with a nice left hook counter. His speed is bothering Wilson. Man, rather than throwing that big right hand and missing, double up on the jab. I want to see Wilson make an adjustment. His first jab is landing. I want to see him double up on it before he throws the right hand. Like right there, he's just jabbing and then throwing the 2. And then Jimenez has that timed. I want to see a double jab or jab step in. He's just from the same range, 1, 2. Big headbutt. That's a head clash. 90 seconds left in the fourth. I'd like to think, Wilson has the skills to do that. Sometimes he looks frustrated in there. His body language. He never looks like he's having fun. You know what I mean? Like some guys fight like, having fun, at least being relaxed in there is important. He looks a bit tense, looks a bit stiff. This is a little bit better. A minute left in the fourth. Jimenez's feet are a bit more flat this round. I think Jimenez has the hand speed advantage as well. Nice body work. There you go. And Wilson's over swinging. I don't like that, man. That's how you get knocked out. You don't need to be a big puncher to knock a guy out when you have him over swinging. That's the second time Wilson did that. 45 seconds left in the fourth. This is where you want to keep him. Right there. .30 seconds left in the fourth. That's a good jab. Just keep him there. Kind of lean in. And you don't see, and Wilson doesn't really fight from the clinch either. Everything's at this one range. Lean in. you know, if you're not going to beat him from the outside, if you can't catch him from the outside, you got to bring the fight inside and see where he's at. You know, at least see how he feels. See, you know, when you're leaning on him. There's a good exchange in the middle. Jimenez is standing there. They're trading now. This is what fans want to see. Big right hand. Kind of stumbled him a bit. I don't know if that was a slip. Wilson landed a right hand at the end of that round. I don't know if Jimenez slipped. Interesting round. I have Wilson's stoppage. Wilson sounds stiff. This fight on Fire Stick. What channel? It could be 2-2. It could be 3-1. In terms of what Jimenez looked like in the first 3 rounds, big right hand. Okay, that's maybe why I slowed down a bit. When you look at Jimenez's movement from rounds 1, 2, and 3 versus that round 4, it changed drastically. And you know, he was a little bit more flat. He didn't move as much. It's only a 10-round fight. We'll see if he was just trying to. Sometimes fighters will do that around mid-rounds, you know, to kind of like gauge where their opponent's at with their power, and then make another sort of assessment on, you know, I don't see Jimenez doing that on purpose, though. You know, Jimenez's game plan would be to move and fight him at range. And oddly enough, in the first 3 rounds, Wilson was obliging, fighting him at that range that Jimenez wanted him to fight at. But Wilson needs to cut the distance, get Jimenez stop moving, work the body, kind of try to trap him in a corner and force him in the clinch. That's where he's going to have to win this fight. Round 5, I think it's 2-2, could be 3-1. It could be 3-1 Jimenez. I wouldn't be mad if it was 3-1. I could see a 2-2. I don't think 2-2 is a far stretch. That big right hand at the end of round 4 that Wilson landed, I think was the best punch of the fight so far. And that round 4 was by far, I mean, it wasn't, you know, no one's going to remember that round, but in terms of what we've seen so far, it was the best round of the fight. A minute gone in the 5th. That's not going to do much. Big right hand. Wilson overswings. You just want to tell Wilson to calm down a bit, mate. He has a lot of nervous energy. He's switched on, though. Nice right hand. That was a big right hand. Kind of stops him. Jimenez tries to counter over the top. Misses. 90 seconds left in the 5th. Jimenez misses on a step-in jab. Wilson, double jab. Big right hand misses. Jimenez moves. Big left hand misses. Getting closer, though. Wilson's getting closer to landing that big punch with his left hand. Good step in. Stay right there. A minute left. Nice combo. Good work from Jimenez there. Pushing Wilson up against the ropes. Wilson returns fire with a left hook. Big left hook from Jimenez. Moves out. Not much on it. Wilson wears it well. Good step and jab from Jimenez, but he doesn't add to it, right? Jimenez, when he gets in, he's quick in and out, but he kind of ones and dones it and then exits. Doesn't really stay there to add much to it. I think he could, they exchange hooks. Neither guy lands that big. Big left hook from Wilson. Jimenez moves out, circles away, 25 seconds left. Misses with a right hand. 10 seconds left in the 5th. I mean, this is another hard round to score. Big, both guys hook. Both guys land. Wilson misses with a right hand. Lands a jab. Another tough round to score. I don't know. It could be 3-2 either way. It could be 3-2 either way. How are you guys scoring it? Guys, wherever you are, like this video. This is the co-main in Cairns, Australia. Liam Wilson versus Ayrton Jimenez. Close fight. A lot of close rounds. I think I have Jimenez up. Wilson kind of looks a bit frustrated. He's missing because he's not bringing his feet with him, and Jimenez is using his movement on this perpetual movement. He's not staying in one spot. I mean, you got to cut the ring off. Wilson can stop him. Yeah, 108 watching, 29 likes. You guys got to like the video. Appreciate you guys. It's heating up. It's heating up, Bazooka. And, you know, if you're a Liam Wilson fan, the one thing that you could lean on, he's never going to he's never going to quit on himself. He definitely will take that power late into the fight. And he's always looking to hurt you. And we just got to find out if Jimenez could, you know, if he could catch Jimenez and if Jimenez could handle it. Liam landed a big right hand at the end of the fourth. Jimenez didn't like it. Round 6. It could be 3-2 either way. This is nice big right. Okay. Nice right hand there. Like I said, with Wilson, it's going to come down to, you know, forcing Jimenez to fight him at his distance within punching range. Because Jimenez is tapping and exiting. And the first few rounds, Wilson was playing that game. That being said, Wilson's going to have to, you know, take in a little bit more risks. And with that, you know, he's going to get touched a little bit more. Doesn't have the best head movement. Never really gets his head off the center line either. You know, when you're thinking about, you know, punchers and, you know, you're drilling your power jab, you know, most boxing coaches would teach you to throw a power jab and squat. Wilson just throws it, keeps it there. Nice body work there. More work from there. Jimenez is obliging him. This is heating up in the pocket. Both guys are exchanging hooks. A minute 40 left in the 6th. Good work. And you can tell this is exactly where Wilson wants to be. Jimenez kind of dropping his hands down a bit. I don't know if one of those body punches kind of, you know, he felt it. It looks to me he felt it. And that's why people, you know, Liam Wilson, people are high on him because if anything, big right hand by Wilson. Wilson wants to be in dogfights. You know, he's just waiting to take that turn in his career where he went where, you know, at that level where it goes in his favor. He needs a victory here, guys, though. Like, I don't know what their corner's telling him. I'm not saying he's down. It's a real close fight. But, you know, for a guy who was so close in that Navarrete fight and then, you know, what happened against Valdez, he's not going to be happy, you know, with anything but a stoppage. 50 seconds left in the 6th. Good jab. Oh, that first, you know, almost 6 rounds in, and we just saw Liam Wilson's first head feint. I'm watching it with no volume. I'm trying to be unbiased. Why? Do you guys have Wilson blowing him out? How are you guys scoring it? I'm literally just doing my best to tell you what I'm seeing. I can't hear what the announcers are saying. I think it's close, but I could see it. Nice step in counter. Jimenez uses his feet. You know, the tide it started to turn a bit in the 4th in favor of Wilson when he landed that big right hand. How are you guys scoring it? You could tell Jimenez is kind of like uncomfortable when it gets dicey in the firefight, and you could tell that's where Liam wants to be. That's why his fans, like, he's not even breathing hard. Wilson could fight like this for, you know, 10 more rounds. And if you're looking at the corner, you know, Jimenez is the one that's going to have to keep his movement up. Yeah, I think it's starting to trend in Wilson's favor as well in terms of, you know, I gave him the 4th. The 5th was close. That round was close. But if you're looking at the trajectory over, you know, how the fight started versus what Jimenez looks like now, you know, the deeper this goes, the slower Jimenez gets, the more flat-footed he gets. That's not good news for him. I could see 4-2 Wilson. I could see 4-2 Wilson. Is it what are the odds on Bet365? 1 in 50? So are the betting apps, what are the live betting right now? If you could live bet, what are the odds live bet right now, Wilson, for either stoppage or Wilson by decision? What are those odds? Big left hand, big right hand, because, you know, minus 3,300, insane. Wilson knockout 6-0, might sprinkle something on that. Decision 114. You know, $10, $50, 6-0. Who's winning? All right, all the odds are saying stoppage plus 600. You know, they're getting closer. You know, Liam's getting closer, and he's gonna fight like this for the rest of the fight. You know, marauding style. And like I said, you know, Jimenez hasn't showed us anything that he could stop Wilson. They could hurt him. Nice left hook there. 1 minute gone in the 7th. Jimenez, every time Jimenez lands clean, there's nothing on it. It's more of an arm punch because Jimenez is a think, get out first sort of guy, not a think, punch first sort of guy. Good body work. Stay there. Keep him in the corner. You did all that work. Keep him in the corner. Good. Minute 40 left in the 7th. Big right hand. Big left hook by Wilson. Jimenez wore it well. Circled out. But, you know, each time you get hit with those shots, you know, think about a power bar. You know, if you're playing a video game character. Each time you get hit with a clean body shot, that power bar kind of goes down a little bit. Probably Wilson's best, you know, 2-punch combo of the fight, if you're in terms of clean. Left hook lands. Jimenez is kind of staying there a bit more. Wilson gets hit with a double jab. Nothing too much on it. A minute left in the 7th. Wilson, big right hand. Wilson's kind of using his straight right as his jab. Prodding his straight right out because he's trying to set his left hook up. You know, it's a trap, but it's so predictable what he's trying to do. I'm only laughing because, like, it's, you know, when you watch enough of Liam Wilson, it's what he does, kind of. You know, everyone knows he wants to land that left hook, so he turns this way and taps the double right, forcing you to slip it and then throwing that left hook. You know, you could tell he's knocked a lot of guys out in sparring with that. You could tell, you know, that's something you knock a lot of guys out when you're like levels above in your gym where you're like the alpha. 15 seconds left in the 7th. Wilson's turning it on. Nice left hook to the body. Big right hand. He doesn't like it. Jimenez returns fire at least. Breathing hard. Nice combo. Good hand speed. Big left hand by Wilson. Big right hand by... Better round. What are the announcers saying, guys? How are you guys scoring this? All the aggression, you know, from round 4 onwards. You know, I wouldn't be pissed if those rounds went to Wilson. I think the smart game plan on Wilson so far. Marcel, Liam Paro over under 8.5. He's fighting an aggressive guy. I like the under. Looks like you bet on Wilson. Looks like I bet on Wilson. Liam by UD. Yeah, it's competitive. Yeah, Zarafa does a good job when he's calling the fights. I don't think he gets the flowers he deserves throughout Australia. Zarafa, actually, I like Michael Zarafa. I think he's good for the sport. Round 8. See, I think where the fight is now, the position Jimenez has put himself in, if he wants to win the fight, he's going to have to take risks. And in those risks, there comes, you know, the risk of getting stopped. But if he continues to just do this, I don't see him winning a decision. I don't see the cards going his way if he just continues this. Now, it's going to, you know, what does Liam do here? Liam only knows one way of fighting, though. So Liam's not going to change his style. He's going to continuously try to stop him, try to march forward, try to land something big. Man, when Liam, you know, we haven't seen too much of it, but when he works that body with that lead hook, man, it's nice. He really digs it. Big left hook to the head. He really digs in there. You know, still haven't seen him make too many adjustments throughout his career with his head movement or his defense. What could you say, though? You know, it's taken him this far. It's good. Every fighter has flaws, right? There's no such thing as a perfect fighter, they say. You could find, you know, nice right hand. You could find flaws in every fighter. 90 seconds left in the 8th. Nice combo from Jimenez, just not too much. Oh, they both land big shots. Wilson got hit with a big shot there, wore it well. Jimenez is starting to trade now. I think he's going to have to fight him here, though. If Jimenez wants to win, he's going to have to stay in this phone booth. Big left hook by Wilson. Big left hook to the body. 1:10 left in the 8th. Jimenez with the chin down. He's going to have to bite down on the mouthpiece. There's that movement. Left to right, hands down. Liam catches him with the jab. Jimenez fires back. They exchange in the pocket. Both hooks land. They say don't hook with a hooker. Jimenez is rolling the dice there. Staying in the pocket, throwing hooks with him. It's exciting, though. If I'm Jimenez's corner, I'm telling him to get out. There's the liver shot. You could just tell Wilson just fights so angry and tense. He just wants to break something. Big right hand, 30 seconds. Jimenez, doing well to evade it. Doesn't look too bothered in there. Circling left, good counter, makes a miss. 30 seconds left in the 8th. I just don't think Jimenez is doing enough to win these kind of rounds, the last few rounds here. From round 4 onwards, and that's what we talked about in the fight tape, like, will Jimenez have enough to good exchange there. He's landing Jimenez when he fires with him, but he's not really sitting on anything. We got 2 rounds left, guys. So going into the 9th, I mean, how are you guys scoring it? I mean, Jimenez is winning. I don't see him winning. I mean, if I'm Liam's corner, I'm telling him it's 4-4. If I'm Liam's corner, I'm definitely telling him you need to win the last 2 rounds. That's the best way of putting it. Only the Maloneys get screwed at home. Yeah, Wilson's down to $1.03. I don't 5-3. See that? I don't think it's 5-3 Jimenez. I give Jimenez round 1, maybe round 2. Shit, the first 3 rounds it could be 2-1 Jimenez after 3. I gave Liam the 4th 2-2, 5-6 3-2. I mean, if anything, if it's 5-3, I think it's 5-3 towards Wilson. I mean, I wouldn't be super mad if it was 4-4. We got 2 rounds left, guys, but, no one here are judges. Thanks, El Morse. I appreciate you, mate. Wilson misses with a hook. 30 seconds gone, the 2nd and the 9th. Wilson misses with a right hand. Big body rip by Wilson. Two minutes left in the 9th. Nothing really significant up until this point. Jimenez is the more active fighter in this round. But it's like activity doesn't always mean scoring, though. This is something that, it's hard to explain to somebody who's never boxed or understands, what's happening. Just because somebody's more active doesn't mean they're scoring. 90 seconds left in the 9th. Ooh, nice left hand by Jimenez. Catches him right on the button. His best punch in a while. Wilson tries to land, much more flat-footed, misses to the body. Jimenez is a slick operator in there. Definitely, I got to admit, he's much faster than I thought he was going to be. I just don't think, he doesn't have the pop. 1:10 left in the 9th. It's a better Jimenez round. I think this is a Jimenez round so far with 1 minute left. He definitely came out in the 9th with more volume, pushing the pace more. Wilson, big shot to the body. That was gorgeous. When Wilson lands those body rips, you could see the class. But, you can't be one-dimensional. The way he invests to the body, though, is beautiful to watch. I still would like for him to finish up top. He just lands a big body rip, to the liver side. Just follow it up. Liver head. And you see how he uses his cross? He uses his cross to set that up. But Jimenez saw it coming and circled out. You know, you don't have to watch a lot of tape on Wilson to see that coming. You know, not a lot of guys use their cross as their jab to set their lead hook up, but Wilson does that. You know, from the orthodox position, he'll double tap his 2 to throw that hook. Big shot by Wilson. Interesting round. How you guys scoring it? You think Wilson's letting the fight go? The judge will let Wilson win this? We got 1 round left. I think either corner has to tell their guy that they have to win this round. I like the energy Jimenez came out in the 9th with. You know, it just depends what sort of work you like. I don't see why. I don't know if you guys are trolling, but screaming robbery with 1 round left is insane to me. So I'm not quite sure if you guys are just trolling or, you know, you grew up with Jimenez. Makes activity mean something when the opposition isn't doing much round for round. No, it doesn't, actually. You could definitely have examples of fighters. You know, think about an economy of energy. Look at William Skull and Canelo. I mean, there's plenty of examples where activity doesn't mean scoring. Last round, guys. Interesting. Like I said, if I'm in both guys' corners, I'm telling them they both need this round. Nice right hand by Wilson. Controlling the center. Misses with a left hand. Jimenez could fight at this pace for another 10 rounds as well. Get him on the ropes. The thing that you could tell Jimenez, you know, made a solid plan for is not to get caught in the corner or not to get caught on the ropes. Every time he just slips away from Wilson and eludes him, out-angles him. He's a slick little boxer. Nice little jab. I mean, it's a tough proposition to come to Australia and try to win a fight like this, though. Nice jab. A minute gone. Good work from Jimenez. Nice hand speed. Counters and gets out. Wilson scoring with the jab. Right foot. Right there. That combo. Right hand to the body. Lands the hook up top. Nice jab from Wilson. Minute 45 left in the fight. Nice jab from Jimenez. Back and forth. I think the fight's up in the air, guys, with a minute 30. There's a lot of close rounds. You know, Jimenez has done the more slicker work. Wilson has had the more eye-catching, you know, punches landing. Wilson's, you know, swung and missed more. But, you know, if you're looking at, like, you know, ring sort of generalship, good body work from Wilson. Good left hook from Wilson. Jimenez lands the left hook up top. A minute left in the 10th. It could be up in the air with a minute left. You know, not a lot separating these two. Good matchmaking. I mean, a lot to take home for both guys. You kind of have an example when you watch all the film tape on both guys. This is exactly what you see from both guys. This is exactly what you see. How they fight. That's why it was interesting. So I think Jimenez thinks he's won this fight. He's moving around. He's dropping his hand. He's dancing. He gets caught with a shot there to the body. Makes a miss. Slips. Jimenez slick. Makes a miss there. Gets caught with a right hand there. 20 seconds. It's really... Oh, gets caught with a big right hand. He clinches for the first time. He hurt him there. Jimenez didn't like that. Wilson throws him on the ground. He was hurt there. Wilson's a mean guy in there. Don't deduct. Is he going to deduct the point? He gave him a warning. Don't get involved in this, ref, with 10 seconds left. No point. 10 seconds left. He warned Wilson. But, I mean, you clinch with him. That big right hand. Wilson's frustrated. Big left hand. You know, what's that going to... Here we go. He was celebrating too early and got popped. You're right. Wilson is not like that. What do you mean, Jesus Padilla? What are you talking about? He's not like what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be cheering if I was I don't know if I'd be cheering if I was Pac-Man. We'll see. I think Wilson edged it. I think Wilson's gonna edge it. When you look at both guys, like I said, this is exactly how these two styles fight. Every time you see these guys, this is how they fight. This is what you get. So in terms of performances, stylistic matchups matter. I mean, you could tell Jimenez has fought his entire career facing guys marauding forward, fighting on their front foot, and he's made a career out of circling out, exiting, jabbing, and countering. Better hand speed than I thought. Jimenez is a nice little boxer. Doesn't sit down on much. It's his style, though. He wins a lot of fights by winning rounds. He went to the world-class level against Magnesi and lost the decision. Doesn't have one-punch knockout power. It just depends on what you like regarding the judges. When people ask, a lot of questions on Twitter lately about one rule that you would change in boxing, and everybody's, jumping on the bandwagon about, things that are happening in the ring. The one rule I would change is to make it mandatory for all judges to be fighters, or all judges to at least have a fighting education or background. Here we go. Here we go. Jimenez thinks he's won. Somebody's going to be disappointed. $98.92, $97.93, $96.94. $98.92 is crazy. $98.92 is crazy. Yeah, that's fair. Not a robbery. No, the judge who scored at 98.92 for Wilson, that's insane. I think 96.94. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Yeah, come on. You guys were calling robberies in the 7th round. You could tell, you guys came here with a narrative, but that's what you get with Liam Wilson, guys. I said it in this first or second. I said this is either going to be an exciting fight or it's going to be one of these sort of go the distance fights. We got money though. We got money though. We out here eating though. These cats were calling robbery in the 6th round. You guys are insane. No, Jimenez is way better. Gluty. Gluty in the house. Yeah, it's a fair decision. Definitely not a robbery. I mean, Jimenez is a nice little boxer, and both guys they fought exactly how we see them fight. We got the main event next, guys. Yeah, 98-92 is insane. Wilson won, of course, but 98. So my point before we got the outcome was the fact that the one rule I would like to see internationally would to make all judges, at least come from an amateur boxing background, at least know how to throw a jab. You got people judging a blood sport who've never thrown a punch before. That's insane. Adelaide Bird is still a judge. For all you casuals, you won't know who that is. For all you boxing heads and MMA heads, you'll know who Adelaide Bird is. She's still a judge. You could call me what you want to call me, mate. You lost 50. PJ! Who wins the main? Paro wins the main. PJ. Come on, PJ. We got to get you up, boy. Good night, Glute. We got the main event coming up. Liam Wilson won by decision. But, you know, Ayrton Jimenez, faster than I thought he was. We knew he was going to be defensive-minded. We knew he had good movement. You know, we picked the money line win. I made a little bit more coin because I took Wilson by decision. I'll post those winnings after the live stream. For all you guys new to the live stream, new to my channel, if you're not used to what goes on here, you don't have to stay. You can leave. But for all the supporters of the channel, you know, I got mad love for everybody. If you haven't hit subscribe, hit subscribe, like the video. I go live every day. Guys, I uploaded my breakdown as Floyd Schofield versus Tevin Farmer. So you can watch that. That's in the playlist under fight predictions. Tomorrow I'll be uploading the Zurdo Ramirez fight versus Dorticos. I think I'm going to be able to get to Deontay Wilder. There's a couple other fights I want to get to. There's a UK card I've been getting requests to do a feature on, so I might get to that. But I'll be, you know, our 6:30 a.m. live stream will be business as usual tomorrow morning, so just tap in. Good. Peace out. It's Just TV. So yeah, Liam Wilson won that fight. Like I was getting at, you got characters online talking about they want to make a no running rule. You could tell those are people that have never boxed before. You know, you got content creators trying to spin narratives about certain fighters. The one rule I really would like to see is the judging. Make the judges, you know, pick judges or create a system to where you have fighters that could give back. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of fighters who, you know, don't make it to the highest level that I think there's maybe a room for the sport to grow. Create a system to where, you know, you give fighters an opportunity to maybe, you know, go through the regulatory systems, and they can become judges. Because a lot of these guys who lose close fights, think about Tevin Farmer. Think about how many close fights Tevin Farmer has lost. Think about Sandor Martin. How many close fights Sandor Martin has lost. Based off of the judging of humans who have never either been hit or even thrown a punch before. The livelihood of fighters' careers and trajectories kind of get placed in the hands of people who've never boxed before. That's insane to me. It's insane to me. That's what needs to change. And maybe something around weight cutting. I'd like, you know, something around, you know, the rehydration clauses, weight cutting, weight classes, that sort of thing. Go get some coffee. We got the main event coming. We're going to keep it saucy here. They got Tim Tszyu on an interview right now. Guys, how do you like Tim in his rematch with Seb? How do you guys see that one going? I lost $500. His knockout prediction. He's bet decision. Yeah, you got to tune into my stuff all week, mate. Who won the fight? Liam Wilson. Guys, I do my long parlays and prediction all week. Not just on this live. Well done, PJ. Get out. Yeah, Dara. It's a chat to have. You know, Tim Tszyu versus Seb Fandora the second time, guys. I know, man. I'd like to know your thoughts on that. I'm gonna upload my prediction the closer we get to fight week. If you're new to my channel, I do it week to week. So you could ask me about my predictions, but the videos are fight week only. So as we get towards that Tszyu Fandora fight week, I'll do the upload. Yeah, my problem with Tszyu is kind of like with Liam. With Tim's style, it is what it is, right? I think he's 30 now. You know, he fought Joey Spencer. It's really hard for me to get past what he looked like against Murtazaev. And, you know, the Murtazaev stoppage loss wasn't a one-punch knockout loss. You know, that went past the first round. He got hurt in the first round. My point is the game plan, the lack of an adjustment against Murtazaev, the in-between rounds from his corner, what they were telling him. To think you're going to go up against a knockout artist in Murtazaev and you think you're going to bully him and fight him and get him out of there early, you know, without setting things up, without moving your head, you think you're just going to alpha another alpha is insane to me. And then, you know, the way he came out in round one was the same way he came out in round two, and he gets stopped. So I think this second time against Seb, I don't like that fight. I mean, he fought Joey Spencer, kind of a domestic level American guy. Spencer was tailor-made for Zoo in terms of that style. I don't even think Seb Fandora is a finished product yet, though. He's not even, he hasn't even peaked yet, Seb, in terms of how polished he's going to be, his precision, his accuracy, his timing. We already know the physical attributes he brings to the game. It's a tough fight. I like Mabili to beat Selecki. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna upload the Christian Mabili versus Sulecki fight. Once you get KO'd, the chin is never the same. Yeah, sometimes that's the case. Yeah, my issue with Tim isn't his chin though. It's kind of like the lack of decision making in a fight. It's a little bit reckless or amateur to go into a world-class world title fight and think you're just going to bully somebody. And then if he would have got stopped in the first round, I wouldn't even have been able to say what I'm about to say, but he didn't. He had an opportunity. All right, Tim, fight him at range. Move around a bit. It's only the second round. You felt his power. Jab a little bit. Make him come to you. Clinch a little bit. Be tighter with your guard. Keep your hands up. Jab to the body. Don't engage this, the second round, kind of feel him out a bit. He's fully powered. You felt his... No. Second round starts, fucking goes right back into the blender. Hats off and kudos to the kid for his heart. But in terms of a fight IQ, that's, not the smartest decision I've seen in the last few years in boxing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Jump right back. You're like, what are you doing, dude? Like, it's okay to be like, all right, this kid could crack. And it's not like Murtazaev, it was a secret that Murtazaev could crack. It was insane to me. It was insane to me. I was at the Tony Harrison fight. I was in the fourth row to the Tony Harrison fight when Zeus stopped him. And that energy of the crowd, just speaking, there were talks of, Zoo was making those hit list T-shirts. And this was right. I think Harrison happened in March. And then Crawford and Spence happened in July. Was that 2023? I think so. That was the chronology. And so he's making those shirts. I do. My boy's fighting the PFL this weekend, Dalton Rasta. I follow all the MMA, mate. I'm a combat sports junkie. I can tell, I write books about this stuff. Yeah, my boy's fighting. He's getting a rematch against Aaron Jeffries in the PFL in that $1 million tournament. Yeah, Dalton's my homie. I have an interview with Dalton on this channel when he first turned pro. If you go to my playlists and find the interview playlist, you can see that. Dalton... He was fighting in Bellator at the time. Yeah, he's from Western PA. I'm from Northeast Ohio. So he grew up in Newcastle. I grew up in Youngstown. Okay. Now you're from Western PA? Newcastle? I used to get my weed from Newcastle back in college. Dude, I used to be a crazy man. You're from Harrisburg. All right, you're from the opposite side of the state. Yeah, I went to college at Pitt for 2 years. So my first 2 years were University of Pittsburgh, and then I transferred to California. And then finished in Vegas. So I lived in PA for a while. Phil Davis, mate, still wears the pink shorts. Does he still wear the pink shorts, man? It was crazy. Phil Davis is a G, man. He used to train out of San Diego, right? When he was in the UFC, Mr. Wonderful. I think he's world class for a long time too. Yeah, world class for a long time. His body type, his physique, dude, interesting problem to solve. When he first came up in the UFC, man, people thought he was a striker. I think he stopped a couple guys early, but he's a wrestler, grappler. I didn't know he's from Harrisburg. He went to Penn State. I didn't know that. Happy Valley. Wasn't he trained? Did he cut his teeth in San Diego though? Training with Dominic Cruz, I think. Yeah, Kevin Lee just has never been the same. I got Lee and Paro winning. Yeah, Kevin Lee hasn't been the same since, the first time he got cut from the UFC. And he had, man, the Motown Phenom, dude. Kevin Lee had so much hype. Well, I think my thing with Kevin Lee, I feel like he cut so much weight early on in his career, and he got sort of fast-tracked so quick in his career before he was fully developed to where he was cutting weight and taking a lot of damage against world-class fighters. And you just lose your durability. And, had all the skill in the world, man. I just think that that's the problem with the UFC. You know, the fans love it because there's a lot of parity in the matchups, but you know, they take a lot of their young talent and feed them to the wolves. That's something we don't do in boxing. So, you know, when I'm hearing Turkey Al-Sheikh and Dana White talking about boxing needs to, you know, the best have to fight the best. Yeah, but when you're a 21-year-old like Abdullah Mason, you know, now granted Abdullah, you know, the Sam Noakes fight's probably going to go down. But like think about what Dana White did to Yair Rodriguez when Yair was 20, 21. Yair was already selling out, or at least had the following to sell out arenas in Mexico. Had a huge following. Beautiful striker, one of my favorite strikers probably of the last 15 years. And then feeds a 21-year-old Yair Rodriguez to a 2-division champion buzzsaw wrestler in Frankie Edgar. And in my opinion, you know, Yair was really never the same guy. Granted, he's like, you know, at the top level again, but Rodriguez disappeared for 2 years, was super inactive. You know, they fast-tracked these guys a little bit too quick. And, you know, I think Kevin Lee was a product of that. You know, partially there's not really a system in place because the sport's so new to kind of guide these guys. Think about right now the kid from Reno, Nevada. All that hype from the Contender Series, undefeated, little knockout streak, and then they put him up against a veteran. He gets stopped, and now he's paired up again with another killer. I think he's going to get stopped again. So, anyway, the fight's about to start. The Peyton kid. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a full fight head, mate. We could talk all night about this stuff. Mark, this is the main event. Paro and Jonathan Navarro. Guys, Navarro is a Robert Garcia guy. Born in East LA. Early on in his career out of the amateurs, promoted by Golden Boy. Oscar De La Hoya was heralding Jonathan Navarro in 2017 is up next. The thing about Navarro, though, is, you know, in 2019, injures his bicep, the pandemic happens, and then he loses 5 years of his career. He's had 2 fights in 2024, won one, lost one. He's a front pressure forward fighter, orthodox versus southpaw. I think this fight, I think Paro's going to look good here. I think Paro's going to look good here. But we're going to see some class. We're going to see some class from Navarro. So that's Robert Garcia's son right there on his right. Right there. I forget what his nickname is. But yeah. My boy Kelly got... Robert trained Pavlik the last 3 fights of Kelly's career after the Sergio Martinez loss. So there's a close connection with Youngstown, at least at the time, some Youngstown fighters in RGBA. So I'm a big fan of Robert Garcia. Virgil Ortiz is one of my favorite fighters. A lot of guys who fight through there, you know, Chop Chop right now is a good prospect coming out. They always got killers. Yeah, I got Liam Paro winning this fight. This should be exciting though. I don't know a lot of you guys are boxing heads. You've probably seen Liam fight before. When Liam's cooking, he's a joy to watch. The thing about Liam is, stylistically, he struggles with sort of, you know, what we saw against Hitchens. A guy who's going to counter him, a guy who has good hand speed, a guy who has a great jab and isn't going to pressure him. He handles pressure fighters pretty well. We saw against Matias. We saw against Brock Jarvis, stopped Montana Love. He was an underdog in those first 2 fights. Montana was supposed to beat him. Brock was a 50-50. Brock was the one who had all the hype because of the Jeff Fennick connection. And Liam starched him. Does he? I didn't know that. See, I don't follow people. I don't watch content. I literally make content. I watch fights. I've been around boxing since I was 7. So I don't follow people. I learn a lot of content creators through you guys on my channel. You guys tell me to check these people out, and I do. No, Hitchens outboxed them. Yeah, just watch my breakdowns. I mean, you guys thought Hitchens... some of you guys thought George was going to beat Hitchens. I told you Hitchens was going to stop George, too. We won a lot of money on that fight. So I think this is going to look similar to the Matias fight rather than the Richardson-Hitchens fight. Yeah. Keith Thurman's world class, though. You guys, casuals try to clown Keith. Keith is world class, dude. He's still got it. Keith Thurman's one of my favorite fighters. That was a nightmare matchup. Somebody should go to prison for putting Brock Jarvis in there with Keith. That was insane. Someone should go to prison for that fight. Keith Thurman is one blemish away having a perfect record. He was fighting good in that fight too. I don't care about that. Just watch how Keith fights. Look at his skill set, his bag, offensively and defensively, his athleticism, his fight IQ. Dude, Keith Thurman has one of the best boxing minds in the game. Nice overhand by Liam. Nice overhand by. Look how the difference you see in class from what we just saw. It's big overhand. So obviously we can see Paro going. Just look how fluid Liam Paro is with his punches. Everything is just fluid. Nothing's forced. With Wilson, he was so tense, and you never see him kind of flowing. When Paro's cooking, he's fun to watch. And he was slept on for a long time in Australia. That's what he had to go to America as underdogs and win that fight against Montana Love. Matchroom was putting all that hype behind Montana Love. I mean, Stevie Spark. Did Stevie Spark fight Montana before or after Paro? Do you guys remember that fight? Well, is he winning a world title again? Who are the champions? Gary Antoine Russell, Alberto Puello, Teo, and Richardson Hitchens. Maybe, maybe not. My guy at 140 is Gary Antoine Russell, though, GAR. You guys were salty when I told you he was going to knock out Rayo. GAR is a beast. That dude's a nightmare. But Puello's a good boxer, too. I think Puello's definitely going to... Oh, nice! That backhand by Paro is so nice. Look how he's controlling the front foot, too. So with this orthodox versus southpaw matchup, Liam is going to keep his front foot on the outside of Navarro's front foot to set up that backhand. And if Navarro was smart, he would get his lead foot on the outside of Paro's lead foot, but he can't do it because Paro's controlling the center. So that's going to walk Navarro onto that backhand. And Liam's already looking for it. First round, 30 seconds left in the first. Big cut over the eye of Navarro. I don't know if that was from a punch. I don't have the volume on. Yeah, that's definitely from a punch. He's landing it every time. Yeah, Navarro's not moving too much. He's getting touched up here. Yeah, this has stoppage written all over it. Liam looks good, mate. I mean, Paro versus Puello. I mean, I think he would give. I'm a big fan of Alberto Puello. I thought, he really showed me something against GAR. GAR was winning the first half of that fight, and Puello, very slick southpaw, uses a whole ring, hand speed, great boxer. But the Sandor Martin fight was really close. Martin, some people have Martin beating Puello. But he has Matias up next. I wouldn't say 100% that Puello would beat Paro. That'd be a good fight. Paro versus Russell, I don't know, man. GAR, did you watch GAR against Rayo? That version of GAR against Rayo beats everybody at 140. That version beats everybody at 140. This is a guy who, super athletic, comes from a boxing family. His fight IQ is through the roof. Technical, tricky, got power. GAR does a lot of things. Really, really good, world class. Okay, now Rayo's trash. Yeah, you guys are insane for calling former world champions trash. I'm going to call you on that. Calling any pro boxer trash is insane to me. You guys have probably never been punched in the mouth before. Second round, here we go. The cut really didn't bother Navarro too much. Look at that hand speed and that timing from Paro. And I told you this in the breakdown. People, you look at Liam's knockout to win ratio, not the best, but he has sneaky power. And his power isn't sort of that one punch, aggressive showstopper power, but it's timing. He produces his power with timing. And that, to me, that's the prettiest type of power. Anybody, big guys, bullies, think of, Fabio Wardley. Yeah, that's not that impressive to me. But when you see a timing, counter, stopping a guy in their tracks, think about what Canelo did to Amir Khan, that sort of thing. or Paro did to Jarvis. A minute gone in the second. Navarro's flat-footed. When you watch Navarro's tape, the interesting thing so far is you usually see Navarro pressing forward. So Paro has already gotten his respect with his power, and he's negating that pressure. He's kind of like baiting Navarro to come close. Yeah, Paro's faster. He has the cleaner punches. Yeah, if you're gonna stay there and let him tee off on you, and you're not gonna force him to chase you around the ring, Liam Paro's tough to beat like this. Oh, nice exchange there. A minute left in the second. They're exchanging punches. I think Liam's bigger than a lot of people think too, in terms of like his length, how long he is for the division. Jab to the body. Look at the feet. Nice footwork, in and out, good head movement. See what Liam does with his jab. Was that a headbutt? Watch every time Liam steps in with his power jab, he slips. That's what Liam Wilson doesn't do. GAR is Gary Antoine Russell. When Liam steps in, right there, he slips. Wilson just jabs, keeps his head on the mitt. Big left hand, big right hand from the southpaw. 2 in the bank for Paro. The thing about this is, what advice are you giving Navarro? What are you telling him? What are you telling him? Because he's outclassed here. Yeah, that's a head clash there. What are you telling him? You just got to make it. You got to. Yeah, I see the stoppage coming. You got to make it dirty. I mean, what's he doing? What's he going to be able to offer Liam that is going to put him in danger? How's he going to win rounds here? What's he going to do? Just has to kind of hope for a dogfight? Yeah, not looking good in the Navarro corner. It's looking good, under 8.5 or stoppage. Berlanga is Goofy TV. There it is. There it goes again, stoppage. Out loud, I tripled down. Round 3. If you guys are watching, what is Navarro's corner telling him? What were they telling him there? I'd like to know, because I really don't see a game plan. You know what I mean? He's just lunging forward. Oh, beautiful counter by Liam. A minute gone in the third. Big left hook. Navarro lunges in. Liam backs him up with his lead hand. Both guys landed, Navarro landed a couple clean punches, but the classier work is Paro. What would you would tell Navarro, work the body, stop headhunting, try to stop Paro's movement by working the body, maybe take it, hopefully you get to the mid to later rounds to stop Paro's movement, try to walk him onto something. I'm not seeing a game plan, though. Yeah. Beautiful 1-2 by Liam. And every time Navarro gets hit with that, he freezes. A minute 15 left in the third. Good jab by Liam. Misses. Yeah, notice when Liam lands his backhand, though, he does kind of have a tendency to watch his work right there. You know, it's beautiful when he lands it. You just kind of want him to slip off that midline. He's just here. Just boom, boom, boom. Oh, again, he's landing at will with that backhand. I don't even know if Navarro sees it coming. He's landing it at will. 40 seconds left in the third. Yeah, pretty surgical performance so far by Paro. Did that land? Oh, catches him with a counter. I mean, Liam is putting himself... The one thing he is doing, he's staying in the pocket, giving Navarro a puncher's chance. That's about it. Body punch. Big backhand. Oh, big left hand stuns Navarro. Round comes to an end. You need Paro by points. You can see the stoppage. 3 in the books. I mean, when they talk about levels to a game, we're seeing this. Liam's world class. I think you'd be ill-advised to say a blanket statement, he's never going to become a world champion again. I think that's reckless to say. You know, he lost his title by decision. I mean, on paper it was a split. I thought Richardson won a UD. I didn't think it was a split. One of the judges gave it to Liam. Was insane to me. If you rewatch that fight, Paro was evidently frustrated with Richardson Hitchens. That backhand of his is landing at will. 3 rounds in the bank. Paro's up 3-0. And Navarro, you know, the one thing we could say so far, he got a chin on him. I don't think he even sees Liam's backhand coming. He's just eating it every time. Jab, jab. Navarro tries to counter, misses with a right hand. I don't think the cut's that bad. It seems like one of those vertical cuts along here, along the line, that you just put some adrenaline on it, stop the bleeding. The tricky ones are when they happen around the eyelid or the brow. Good jab. Man, Liam looks clean, man. Liam looks crisp. Oh, big exchange. He gets caught in... Oh, big left hand. Dude, Liam has a focus to his game tonight. He has a look, that sort of look. Boxing really well here. A minute gone in the fourth. Oh, that was sneaky. Navarro looks, he looks like a guy who didn't fight for 5 years. Big left hand, big right hand by Paro. Yeah, that whoever picked the decision, man, it looks like there's an end coming, just based off of Navarro's flat feet, not seeing Liam's backhand. How clean and classy Liam's looking tonight. He looks real good tonight. Not rushing his work. What's up, Mark? Oh, you don't know Wilson won. Just woke up with cash. Get that money. Those are the best, Mark, when you wake up and you see that paper. Navarro lands something, nothing substantial. .40 seconds left in the fourth. Liam's up 3-0. Oh, big backhand by Liam. Oh, good counter by Paro. Moves his feet. Got to see more body work. Navarro could be, sometimes to get a guy like him out, you got to work the body. You can't headhunt. Big backhand every time it's landing. Guys, I don't think Navarro's seeing that punch. I don't think he's eating it every single time. I mean, how many of those could he eat? He just looks flat. And Christian, to answer your question, I don't know if he looks hurt, but the way this is trending, you know, Liam's landed his best shot multiple times. You want to see him work the body a bit more. He is head hunting. He's landing at will. I'd like to see his accuracy. You know, he's not missing a lot. Navarro's just basically been a punching bag so far. Flat-footed. But, you know, there's a lot of guys, you know, are tough, could take a beating. He's getting punished. He's a perfect way to put it. To put it lightly, he's getting punished. If you guys are watching the stream, if they show Navarro's corner, what's he saying? It's always interesting to me. Is Paro's corner telling him to go to the body? Christian George. The fight started, PJ. We're in round 5. The fight started. Yeah, the only question is where you guys have your money at. If you're picking the decision, if you're picking the money line, or if you're picking the stoppage. Because, you know, round 5 out of 10, Paro's landed his best shots. Navarro's been eating them. He's been getting hit a lot. If you want that stoppage, you want Liam to start working the body a bit more. Soften up those ribs. It's only the 5th. Navarro's been hit a lot so far. 10 rounds, 5.5 left. I think I have, on one of my props, I have an under 8.5. But, you know, I also have a couple things working. And they're all live, so they're all good. We do our best out here, brother. 2 minutes left in the 5th. Big right hand by Liam. It's landing every single time. I mean, you gotta ask yourself too, as the fighter, you know, when does it become a bit frustrating when you're pot shotting a guy's, you know, landing your best punch, and you know he's just still there. A minute 10 left in the 5th. It's been all Liam Paro. Big left hook, check hook. Navarro, really not much coming back. Been getting hit a lot. Yeah, he's pretty much been a punching bag here, Navarro. Lands a big right hand on Paro's chin. Liam returns fire. Probably Navarro's best punch of the fight. Liam wore it well. Bow! God damn! One of those got through clean. Jesus. That was brutal. Dude, he hasn't seen that punch all fight. 30 seconds left in the 5th. Navarro got dropped. Liam's going in for the kill. Another big right hand. Again, Navarro's ready to go. He's probably too tough for his own good. Big shot. Stop the fight, corner. This is where you want to stop the fight if you're Navarro's corner. He's already taken a lot of shots up into that moment. 10 seconds left in the 5th. Everything Paro's landed, everything he's throwing is landed. Navarro, oh, big shot. He's hurt to get up against the ropes. Not throwing anything back. Getting hit clean. Jesus Christ. If he dies, he dies. Liam's on fire tonight. They can stop this fight. What's Garcia telling him? Dude, the nose is broken. Yeah, that nose is busted. Dude, the kid's only 28 years old. His nose is busted. You gotta stop this fight. The way this isn't even a close fight. This isn't even close. If this was close, no, you don't fight through this. You don't fight through this. You stop this fight. It's over. It's over. It's over. Liam looked good tonight, boys. Liam looked good tonight. Guys, I got to go to bed. It's late. I get up at 5 a.m. So I'll be live streaming tomorrow morning. We got a lot to talk about. I appreciate the support. Even the ones who disagree with me, I love all of you guys the same. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned. We go live every single day. We got a lot of fights this weekend. We start off on the right track. We're undefeated in Australia the last 2 fight cards, so let's continue to eat. Appreciate you, boys.